geography, environment and current affairs, and some part of answer writing also. So this class is mainly about answer writing. We call it as a workshop on answer writing. And why do we call it as workshop? Because it's not just a class. In बाकी जो भी class होगा, so in that we'll be teaching you something, we'll be dictating you something. So here it is not so. Here it is a kind of discussion where we are going to see through examples what is a good answer, what is a bad answer, what are the important things which should be there in any answer which we have analyzed over the period of time. So ये सारी चीज़ें हम देखने वाला है. So that is why we call it as a workshop. So and we need an active participation from all of you. So let's start with that. So before we start, I would like you to see a small video. So let me just play that for you guys. So let's just watch this video, a small video.
Because believing is something, if you don't believe then you can't do it. So you have to be convinced, because you cannot lie to yourself. You must be assured that yes, I am going to clear it.
One of my friends said it in a very effective manner that this exam is a game of chess, and in the game of chess the king is the most powerful thing, but queen has the most power. So compare it with this UPSC, the king is the content, queen is the presentation. So present your answers very effectively, and that will only happen when you do a lot of answer writing. Practice a lot.
I felt like it is a wastage of time, so I left it. The result was that I got into 573 rank. I didn't realize that my fault was that I was not practicing answer writing. Then again, the same thing continued and I got 474 rank.
सीखने के लिए बोलते हैं ना, गलती से सीखना चाहिए, लेकिन एक चीज बोलना भूल जाते हैं. You should learn from others' mistake also.
I always felt
through that. I went through the answer booklet. I understood कि answer लिखते कैसे हैं. This is where this test series has helped me, and which is why I say कि test series is the most important investment that you can make. Test series में proper schedule होता है. One week में there is a test. If you follow that very religiously, rigorously, then things become very easy. So what I did was I used to follow the test series का schedule.
On the Vision website, there is a sheet in which the meaning of all these terms is given. That when it is written, critically analyze what you have to write. When it is followed by critically comment, what you have to write. So go through that sheet.
Try to see as many questions as you can. In the beginning, it will be a slow and you may find it very boring and all that. But trust me, when your mental framework is ready, then you'll enjoy writing answers.
मेरा ये एम था कि मैं इतना कंफर्टेबल हो जाऊं by giving a test कि when I give the main test UPSC, तब मेरे लिए it should not be different from the other test that I was giving. I should be so comfortable with that.
Your thinking part is generally missing. People read, people write, but they don't think. And unless you think, unless you analyze what the question is being asked about, your marks will not reflect in that.
This year I wrote almost 20 tests of vision, and it was like I thought that this is the actual exam I write.
The mains test series program of vision, it is really good. The checking etc. is very professional, and here you will find out what is wrong about you.
First attempt में I did not see any external feedback. तो मेरे को नहीं पता पड़ पाया पूरे टाइम में I was writing good after that. पहले second attempt I joined this test series. The test series like if you join out to send your answer to somebody to evaluate and all, then you get a feedback. In your case feedback मिलता है कि they तो 20 को मतलब कुछ 2 नंबर आए हैं. Then you think and all that.
Our teachers gave me the feedback that this strategy is wrong, this strategy is right, this structure is wrong, or this structure is right. So I analyzed myself better, and I think that was a major reason that I could secure this rank this time.
It is very essential that you have joined this. This is a very reputed place, of course. तो आप यहाँ के coaching के papers ले लें, कहीं और के ले लें. You have any other guidance, somebody giving you papers, do it.
Writing test series is the most important thing. If you do not write, you cannot write in the main.
So that is basically about writing answers as well as writing tests. So you keep hearing, है ना, तो whether it's in the toppers talk or in your classroom, है ना, हम तो regularly बोलते हैं, encourage करते हैं, even your mentors, they keep telling you to write answers. So the most common question you face is why to write answers. Important देख के बता रहे, even one of the toppers said if at all you are not writing your answer, you cannot write in the mains, है ना, and in that particularly present introduction होना चाहिए. So all these things keep telling, but many of you feel sometimes like you keep facing this question. So but reading any particular textbook or notes is not equal to remembering everything. अब जितना भी पढ़ लो, इसका गारंटी ये नहीं है कि like you will remember everything, right? You might have understood everything, you might have understood everything of plate tectonics, how exactly plate tectonics works. अभी मैंने समझा दिया, आपको पूरा समझ आ जाएगा, है ना? But will you remember everything what I have told you? Not necessarily. Even if you remember majority of it, you might not be able to recollect everything in exam. In the examination hall, if you go and sit there and try to write the answer, so you may not be able to recollect everything, क्योंकि at that moment immediately पूछ लिया तो सबको तो याद तो थोड़ी होता है. So it is not equal. Even if you are able to recollect most of the things, that does not mean that you will be able to write it in the given word limit. बहुत important है ना? कहानी तो सब सुनाते हैं. Whether you will be able to write that story in the given word limit is very very important. Even if you are able to write that in the word limit, मतलब मान लो plate tectonics हमने पूरा 250 words में समझा दिया. If you are able to explain that in 250 words, whether will you be able to do that in a given time limit? Not possible. देखा कितना equation है? It does not mean just because you are reading something, it does not mean that you will be able to write that in a given time, given word limit, or recollect everything or remember everything. ये तो possible है ही नहीं है. आपको at regular intervals you have to keep checking yourself where exactly you are making the mistake. So rather than checking yourself in the examination hall, which is going to be a very costly mistake, है ना, तो you can do that in the test series, you can do that in the assignment, है ना. ऐसे भी नहीं है कि like सबके लिए आंसर रेटिंग आ जाते इनिशियली. Okay, there would be exceptional cases. You might have seen many people, few people at least, few people would say मैंने तो लिखा ही नहीं था, डायरेक्टली जाके लिख गया, मुझे बहुत अच्छा मार्क्स आ गया. तो so that is very very exceptional case, and you don't want to gamble your entire preparation thinking that you are that exceptional case. That is the foolishness. Please write as many answers as possible. जितना हो सके आपको लिखना ही है. Right? Remember this simple equation. जो भी आप पढ़ोगे, it does not mean that you will remember everything. Even if you remember everything, it does not mean that you will recollect everything in that moment of writing the answer. Even if you are able to recollect, you have to write in the within word limit, within the time limit. इसके लिए चाहिए practice. है ना? You know how exactly the evaluation happens in UPSC. In UPSC, there are different levels, different groups will be there, and each of the groups will have a different evaluators, and it will pass through different levels of scrutiny. है ना? It will pass through different levels of scrutiny. पहले आपका पेपर एक सैंपल चेकिंग होगा, आपका पेपर नहीं होगा, like a bundle will be there. So suppose मान लो there is a bundle of 50 papers. In that they will randomly pick up one, and the one particular group का जो head होता है, he will pick randomly and he will do the evaluation and he will show it to everyone, whoever the evaluators are there. Suppose मान लो उस ग्रुप में 5 लोग हैं. Each of them will have to evaluate 10 copies each, and the head evaluator will come pick one and he will do the evaluation and he will show to everyone, देखो ऐसे है, आपको ऐसे evaluation करना है. He will set the standards. After that everyone will evaluate their 10 copies each. उसमें भी random checking होता है. The head evaluator will come and check, है ना, कोई भी रैंडम कॉपी उठा के चेक करता है. सो वेदर योर द एवेल्यूएशन डन बाय दिस पर्सन हैज बीन इन अलाइनमेंट विद दिस हेड एवेल्यूएटर और नॉट. अगर इसको कभी गलती लगा, है ना, तो इफ एट ऑल दैट एवेल्यूएटर हैज बीन वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट, बोलते हैं कि जो आपने 10 कॉपीज जहां पर एवेल्यूएशन किया है, मोस्टली इट हैज गॉन वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट, थोड़ा सा लिबरलाइज करो, तो उसको 10% मार्क्स इंक्रीज कर दो. इंक्रीज करता है. इफ एट ऑल ही फाइंड्स इट, आपने बहुत ज्यादा लिबरली मार्क्स दे दिया, इन द प्लेस ऑफ गिविंग 100 you have given 120, तो उसका मतलब है सबका लिबरलाइज मार्किंग किया है, सो सबके लिए मार्क्स कट कर दो. सो दैट इज हाउ दे डू द मॉडरेशन. ओके, इट्स अ वेरी टीडियस टास्क, टीडियस प्रोसेस. ओवरऑल ये बात है कि लाइक इट गोज थ्रू मल्टीपल लेवल्स ऑफ स्क्रूटिनी, है ना. ऐसे मत सोचो कि कोई ऐसे ही रैंडम लेके कोई चेक करेगा. सो इट गोज थ्रू मल्टीपल लेवल्स ऑफ स्क्रूटिनी. इन स्पाइट ऑफ दैट इट इज नॉट गारंटीड दो एवेल्युएटर का जो माइंडसेट कैसे हो सकता है. हेड एवेल्युएटर जो एग्जांपल सेट करने के लिए जो एवेल्युएट कर रहा है ना, मे बी वो ही आपका कॉपी हो सकता है. ऑफ कोर्स ही विल एंश्योर दैट इट इज डन इन अ स्ट्रिक्ट मैनर, है ना. देयर आर मेनी थिंग्स ओवर देयर. व्हाट एग्जैक्टली यू कैन डू, यू कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग अदर देन राइटिंग द आंसर. एक बार आपके हाथ से पेपर निकल गया, देयर इज नथिंग इन योर हैंड, यू कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग. उसके बाद में जो भी होगा यूपीएससी के हाथ में. सो जब तक आपके हाथ में है, यू हैव टू डू योर बेस्ट, यू हैव टू डू योर बेस्ट, सो दैट कोई भी उसको एवेल्युएट करो, वेदर ही इज अ गुड एवेल्युएटर और ही हैज कम विद अ वेरी गुड माइंड और ही हैज कम विद अ वेरी बैड माइंड. हो सकता है, सच वेरिएशंस आर पॉसिबल. इन स्पाइट ऑफ ऑल ऑफ दैट, इफ एट ऑल ही इज एबल टू सी योर कॉपी, ही शुड बी ठीक है यार, बंदा तो अच्छा है, अच्छा लिखा है, आई एम हैप्पी, फाइन. एंड ऑल्सो कीप दैट इन माइंड. लाइक बहुत लोग सोचते हैं लाइक your answer is being checked by someone who already knows the subject, है ना. You don't have to explain everything too elaboratively, you have to stick to the point, है ना. You have to stick to the point. You are telling him what you know, है ना. उनको लगना चाहिए कि हाँ इस बंदा को पता है, this guy knows the subject. Okay, you are not explaining this to a person who doesn't know the subject. Keep that in mind, है ना. Overall what I am trying to say is, when the person takes the copy to your hand, so his hand, when the copy goes to the evaluator's hand, he should be so happy that he should be able to give you claps, है ना. ताली बजाना चाहिए आपके लिए, आपका आंसर के लिए. So that is the 5 ingredients of any good answer. The 5 ingredients of any good answer should bring you claps. Okay, try to remember this keyword, claps. So क्या क्या होना चाहिए in an answer so that an evaluator whenever he sees your answer he will be happy and he will be able to give you the maximum marks. क्या क्या होना चाहिए? The first thing should be content. Okay, अच्छा content होना चाहिए. Content is the king, remember. Okay, second one is language. Okay, language should be clear, crispy. मैं बता दूंगा इस कैसे होना चाहिए. Third one is approach. How you are approaching the question. Fourth one is presentation. Fifth one is structure. So these 5 key ingredients should be there in your answer. This is must. Every answer should have this. Fine. Then only whether you're writing in any kind of stressful environment, क्योंकि ये तो होता ही है यूपीएससी में जितना एग्जाम लिखते हैं ना. So this is something which is going to change your life for the coming many years, for the major part of your life, है ना. This is going to be very stressful examination. मतलब एग्जाम लिखते लिखते भी बहुत लोग blackout हो जाते हैं, they won't remember anything. इतना stressful environment में to ensure that you write in the given direction, है ना, to understand the question clearly, to write in the given structure, in the given time period, in the given word limit, ये बहुत मुश्किल वाला काम है ना. तो इसलिए we suggest from our side, based on the analysis which we have done, based on the toppers copies, based on the UPSC's evaluation pattern, क्योंकि हम भी थोड़ा बहुत टेस्ट सीरीज में एक्सपर्टाइज डेवलप किया है over the period of time, है ना. Based on our analysis, we have come to conclusion that every answer should have these 5 key ingredients. ये तो बहुत जरूरी है, right? Content, language, approach, presentation, structure. उसके अंदर there are subdivision. I'll tell you that. Right? Overall idea क्या है? You should get claps from the evaluator. कोई भी evaluator आ जाए, whether he is a good evaluator or okay type of evaluator or he is a very strict evaluator, कैसे भी हो जाए. So that is the overall idea. फाइन. तो इसके लिए हमें चाहिए प्रैक्टिस प्रैक्टिस प्रैक्टिस. आप जितना प्रैक्टिस करोगे उतना आंसर इंप्रूव होगा आपके लिए. ओके, दिस कोट बाय अब्राहम लिंकन फिट्स वेरी वेल इन दिस कंटेक्स्ट. इट सेज गिव मी 6 hours टू चॉप डाउन ए ट्री, आई विल स्पेंड द फर्स्ट 4 शार्पनिंग द एक्स. ये जो शार्पनिंग द एक्स है ना, दैट इज व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू. मतलब आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू इंट्रोड्यूस यू गाइस. तो बाकी सारा शार्पनिंग तो आपको खुद करना पड़ेगा, राइट? सो इन दिस, in today's session, okay, in today's session is mainly about introducing you to the basic ideas of answer writing. There would be another session, है ना, so that you can start writing at least. I guess आपका around 1 month तो हो चुका होगा class start होके. You would have gone through many classes. No, many of you might have started to write assignments, and I'm sure many of you might not have started to write the assignment. जो भी है, so the idea is to introduce to start writing the answer. You might not be very sure about content. Content तो वैसे पढ़ते पढ़ते आएगा. Okay, once you are covering the subjects, gradually वो content develop होगा, right? So don't worry much about the content at this point of time. And presentation B, there are many minute things about presentation which you will learn by yourself once you start writing the answer. But what are the most important things? Approach and structure. इसके बारे में भी बात करूंगा. The basic things I will clear out. But in an advanced level, it will be taken in the next session. Whoever is going to take, so that will be dealt in a. And it will be very difficult to have approach. So what exactly is approach? Approach का मतलब क्या है? So why did I take this part in the beginning? Because that is the maximum time you will have. In 7.5 minutes you will have to write the answer. So लोग क्या करते हैं, once they read the question immediately they will start to write the answer. मतलब बहुत fast लिखना है, so that you will complete the answer in 7.5 minutes. Okay, trust me, mains answer writing is not about writing fast. It's about thinking fast. You have to think fast. It's not about writing fast at all. उससे फायदा नहीं होगा. Trust me, whoever does that, मतलब क्वेश्चन देखते ही पढ़ने लगेंगे ना, so they will stop writing after a minute because their mind would stop working, है ना. तो सोचते अरे ये क्या लिख दिया मैंने, और ये और लिखना था, ये बाद में लिखना था, ये पहले लिखना था, ये सारा सोचने लगेंगे. You will stop writing. You will think for some more time. You will start again, है ना. ऐसे करते करते you will go up to 10 minutes. 10 minutes तक पहुंच जाते हो. So they, if at all you're exceeding the 7.5 minutes का target and you're going to 10 minutes and you're finishing, उसका मतलब है next question में you're having less time. वो add होते जाएगा. In the end you will be definitely not have time to answer few questions. वो तो ऐसे ही छोड़ना पड़ेगा. It is very very important that you stick to the time limit. उसके लिए approach is the most important thing. What exactly is approach? Approach is basically understanding the demand of the question. It is very important that you understand the demand of the question before you start writing the answer. जो भी क्वेश्चन आएगा पहले आराम से ध्यान से पढ़ना. Read that question very carefully. Don't worry at all. Don't read the question fast. अगर चाहिए तो सोच के फिर बाद में लिखते समय थोड़ा सा फास्ट लिख देना. It's okay, but don't read the question fast. बहुत लोग वहीं पे गलती कर जाते हैं. You have to read the question slowly. Clearly try to understand what exactly they are asking. Try to understand the core demand of the question. What is the overall idea? What exactly he is trying to see from my answer? What is he looking, है ना, in your answer? वो पहले समझना चाहिए. The core idea, the core demand of the question is the first thing which you have to catch. Once you have read the question clearly, thoroughly, once you have understood the demand of the question, also try to look for certain tricky parts. There would be certain tricky parts in the question. Okay, the question might ask the distribution of iron and steel industries. If the question is just asking what are the factors affecting the distribution of iron and steel industry, so that means you have to explain from the context of world. क्योंकि इसमें तो दिया नहीं है in the context of India. If the same question it says explain the factors affecting the distribution of iron, and steel industries in India, you have to explain only in the context of India. That in India is the keyword. Those keywords you have to understand very carefully. Please give some importance to that. पहले क्या है? Understand the demand of the question. The core demand of the question should be understood very clearly. For that you have to read slowly. Try to understand the question clearly, and then try to give some attention to the tricky parts. ठीक है? And once you are done with that, try to divide the question into multiple parts. क्योंकि कभी कभी ऐसे होता है पेपर 2 पेपर 3 में जैसे क्वेश्चंस आता है ना, सो ऐसे एक स्टेटमेंट होगा, एंड में होगा क्रिटिकली एनालाइज. So you don't know exactly what is the first part, what is the second part, what is the third part. So वहां पर भी you should not make the mistake of immediately start writing the answer. Please don't do that. पहले सोचो, हाँ पहले इसको पहले लिखना है. This is the first part, this is the second part, this is the third part. Divide the question into multiple parts and make a rough framework of the entire answer. I am not asking you to write the brief points, है ना, पूरा लिखो नहीं, माइंड में framework होना चाहिए. Okay, this is the first part of the question. I'll answer this, then I'll come to this. Okay, these are the factors. Okay, then this is the problems. And if at all the question is something like critically analyze the factors affecting the distribution of iron and steel industry. First I'll introduce what exactly iron and steel industry, what are the factors, India में कैसे वो affect हुआ है, and why exactly these factors have not resulted in any other areas, what are the problems, what are the solutions. ऐसे multiple parts होंगे ना, it again depends on the keyword over there. So those multiple parts you have to identify in the beginning itself. So all these exercises you have to do in the approach. If at all you ask me how much time I should take for this part, it's okay. Even if you take 30 seconds to 1 minute, it's okay. Out of 7.5 minutes, 1 minute तक ले लो, कोई issue नहीं है. But once your approach is clear, your answer you will write in a very fast manner in the next 6.5 minutes. You will not even stop anywhere. है ना? Once your approach is clear, you don't have to segregate, मतलब you don't have to think in between. वो पूरा segregate होके starting में ही पूरा clear picture आ जाता है. So that one you have to practice. है ना, बहुत लोग बहुत अर्जेंट में रहते हैं, दे विल स्टार्ट राइटिंग इमीडिएटली. प्लीज डोंट डू दैट. इसके लिए भी प्रैक्टिस चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं है कि इमीडिएटली हो जाएगा. So please take some time, read the question carefully, read the question clearly, slowly, understand the keywords, divide the question into multiple parts, entire framework, make it in your mind. अगर दिमाग में करना थोड़ा सा इनिशियली सबके लिए मुश्किल होता है, try to do it in a rough paper, है ना. एक अलग से रफ पेपर रखो, क्योंकि ये तो एग्जाम में नहीं मिलने वाला है. प्रैक्टिस करने समय तो कर सकते हो ना. You can do that at least while practicing, so that over the period of time you will develop that. हाँ दिमाग में ही पूरा framework बन जाएगा. Then you will start writing. इतना easily आप लिख सकते हो. You don't have to worry at all. ठीक है? So that is what is overall approach. So here I would like to give an example. In one of the answers, I have taken this screenshot. So you can see the question. It has been pointed out that in the recent times, while the proportional share of nuclear households has dipped in the urban areas, it has risen in the rural areas. Analyze the reasons behind this trend. This is the question. Okay? And the student has started to answer. You can see the nuclear households refers to the amount of nuclear product intake by the members of the household. And the sources of nuclear pollution in our food, etc., so and so, so and so. He has written for 3 pages about the nuclear pollution. And if you see this question, if you fit this answer in the nuclear pollution, he will get, है ना, थोड़ा तो marks मिल जाएगा, but it is totally mismatched. मतलब this guy who has written this answer है ना, he has totally missed the core demand of the question. Right? बस देख लिया न्यूक्लियर हाउसहोल्ड सो एंड सो, ठीक है स्टार्टेड टू राइट, है ना, तो पूरा खत्म कर दिया, 5 मिनट में लिख दिया, हाँ बढ़िया काम. तो ही विल गेट 0 मार्क्स फॉर दिस. नो मर्सी एट ऑल, 0 मार्क्स. कुछ लोग ये भी बोलते हैं कुछ तो लिख के आओ, आधा मार्क 1 मार्क तो मिलता है, नहीं मिलेगा. यू डोंट फिट योर आंसर इन द कोर डिमांड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, यू विल नॉट गेट ए सिंगल मार्क. पहले तो मार्क भी नहीं मिलेगा, दूसरा आपका टाइम वेस्ट भी है. जहां पर आंसर आ रहा था वहां पर तो लिख सकता था ना. इट्स ए टोटल लॉस. सो प्लीज ट्राई टू अवॉइड सच मिस्टेक्स. Clear? So that is about approach. Approach, I would say, if you ask me, approach is the most important part. Most important part. Approach clear नहीं हुआ तो पूरा आंसर ही गया. तो इसलिए मैं बोलता हूं, please try to see the question very carefully. थोड़ा सा calmly पढ़ो, then you start to write. It's okay. I'm sure if you do that, you will write a very better answer rather than just jumping into the answer. So let's come to the next part, structure. So what exactly is structure? Structure is overall how exactly your answer you are putting in that space which has been given to you. And that is the overall structure. We can divide the entire structure of the answer into 3 parts. First one, introduction. Second one, body. And third one, conclusion. These are the 3 parts which should be there in any answer. Okay, any answer should have these 3 parts. इसको बोलते हैं हम structure. You have to write your answer in a very structured manner. है ना? तो that is what usually we say. Structure नहीं है ठीक से, ऐसा पूरा हैफाजाड है. उसका मतलब है, so it is not divided. We don't know exactly. है ना, पहले एक पॉइंट है, दूसरा एक पॉइंट है, तीसरा एक पॉइंट है, अलग ही है पूरा जो भी पॉइंट है. बस उसमें ऐसे लगता है कि द स्टूडेंट हैज वॉमिटेड ऑल द कंटेंट ऑन द पेपर एंड ही हैज जस्ट गॉन. ऐसे तो नहीं लगना चाहिए. इट शुड बी क्लियरली विजिबल. ओके, दिस इज द फर्स्ट पार्ट, दिस इज द सेकंड पार्ट, दिस इज द थर्ड पार्ट एंड कंक्लूजन. आंसर शुड बी वेरी स्ट्रक्चर्ड. उसमें पहले पार्ट है कि इंट्रोडक्शन. Every answer should have an introduction. Okay, there are certain cases where you don't have to write a conclusion. Conclusion zaruri nahi hai, I'll tell about that, but introduction necessary. It is required in every answer. कोई भी आंसर ले लो, don't come to the demand of the question directly, because some part of the mark is dedicated for introduction. अगर आपने introduction नहीं लिखा, वो marks गया. Okay, this is very clear. You have to write introduction, a brief introduction, a crispy introduction. कैसे भी, there are different types of introduction writing. I'll tell you that what are the different types. But you have to write the introduction. That is very much necessary. Why? Why do you have to write introduction? If somebody asks why, what is the answer? See, and any answer, if you ask me for an evaluator, I have done evaluation long back. Like abhi to I get very less time for the evaluation, so I have seen so many number of copies. I would say every answer is a kind of interaction between two persons. Okay, it's an interaction between two persons. You, the person who has written the answer, me, and the person who is reading the answer. It's a kind of business deal. And we are here to talk about a business. What is the business? Exchange of goods, right? Exchange of goods or service. What are you giving me? You are giving me a good answer. I am here to see a good answer. If I see a good answer, I am happy. So what am I giving you back? Marks. And you give me a good answer, I'll give you a good marks. It's a kind of business deal, right? So जब दो आदमी मिल रहे हैं, they are talking about a kind of business. Do they start talking about the business immediately? No. कुछ तो बात होगा ना. So how is the weather at your place? Okay, how is the politics going on? पहले कुछ तो बात होगा. Any business deal would start something like that. A brief, welcoming, brief, short talk. Then you come to the actual part of it. But if that short talk is relevant to the answer, that is going to be more useful. ऐसे नहीं है कि पूरा कहानी समझा दो, then you come to the answer. ये तो नहीं बता रहा हूं. But at least talk about the answer. Don't come to the answer immediately, but talk about the answer. That is what is introduction. Here in the first part there should not be answer. If at all you are starting directly with the answer, that is not considered as introduction. It should talk about the answer. That is what is introduction. It's a kind of welcoming the examiner to the answer. Saying हाँ मैं इसके बारे में लिखा हूं, किसके बारे में लिखा हूं, इसके बारे में लिखा हूं, वो क्या लिखा हूं वो बाद में आपको पता चलेगा. I'm saying this is how the topic is. Because it's a kind of conversation. Conversation should go smoothly, it should go naturally. उसके लिए चाहिए introduction. So there are certain simple basic do's and don'ts when you write an introduction. Okay, बहुत simple है. So don'ts क्या है? ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है यूपीएससी में, है ना. क्या नहीं करना है ये पहले समझना है. क्या करना है ये तो पता चल जाएगा. क्या नहीं करना है? प्लीज डोंट राइट टू एलॉबरेट इंट्रोडक्शंस. बिल्कुल नहीं. प्लीज डोंट राइट टू एलॉबरेट इंट्रोडक्शन एट ऑल. वो तो लिखना ही नहीं है. क्यों? बिकॉज इंट्रोडक्शन हैज एन एजेंडा, है ना. मतलब उसका काम है कि इंट्रोड्यूस करना है, टू वेलकम द पर्सन टू रीड योर आंसर. ऐसा पूरा आंसर ही वो नहीं होना चाहिए, उससे मार्क्स नहीं मिलेगा. इफ एट ऑल इट इज ए 10 मार्कर, maybe 1 or 2 marks depending on the type of question, 1 or 2 marks will be dedicated only for introduction. ऐसा नहीं कि पूरा इंट्रोडक्शन अच्छे से लिख दिया तो 5 मार्क्स वही पे दे देते, नहीं. There is a limitation, but at the same time it is an essential one. Essential one तो है, आपको लिखना ही है, but there is a limitation. Don't write to elaborate introduction. That unnecessarily gives a bad impression. What kind of impression? That impression that you don't know the content, इसलिए you are writing unnecessarily introduction this much. Please don't do that. Restrict your introduction. If it is 150 words answer, 10 marker, it is 150 words answer. So it should not go beyond 25 to 30 words. Maximum 25 to 30 words. 2 to 3 lines. बड़ा आंसर है 4 lines. Not beyond that. Your answer, your introduction should be very, very crispy. Okay, very, very crispy, very, very short. And it should be clear. It should not beat around the bush. मतलब पूरा कहानी समझाने का जरूरी नहीं है. If the question is about the impact of inflation, impact of high inflation on Indian economy, you should directly start with what is inflation. You should not start with what are the reasons. ये पूरा कहानी तब शुरू हुआ था, inflation कम हुआ था, बढ़ गया था, ये सारा कहानी समझाने का जरूरी है ही नहीं है. Directly start with what is inflation. If there is a high inflation, these are the impact. It should be clear, it should be direct, right? Do not beat around the bush. And one thing if you can do, जो usually examiner का attention को grab करता है, so that is an attractive introduction. कोई भी छोटा सा fact डाल दिया होगा, या कोई भी something like which makes your answer bit different from others. This one you have to think. I cannot say, you write this is a different thing. You have to think by yourself. What exactly is a different thing? A simple fact, which usually anyone would tend to skip, है ना, or even a short quote भी हो सकता है. Okay, I am saying quote you can write in your answers, but it should not be too lengthy quotes, and it should not be too irrelevant quote. If it is a directly relevant quote and it is a very short one and it is an English one, don't write in the regional language. हिंदी में, है ना, या तमिल में, कन्नड़ा में, ऐसे regional language में मत लिखो. Directly write. If it is a relevant one and a short one, you can write the quotes also. मतलब जो introduction में पता होना चाहिए, ठीक है, there is something interesting in this. I agree that you cannot do this for all the answers. Possible नहीं है. If at all you are writing a paper of 20 question, if at all you are able to do once or twice, एक दो बार लिख दिया तो भी ठीक है, मुझे समझ आ जाएगा, ठीक है, इस बंदे में थोड़ा सा मैटर है. That is your idea, है ना, that is your overall objective. मुझे समझाना है कि हाँ ठीक है आपने पढ़ा है. Once I get that, okay ठीक है, बाकी सारा आंसर अपने आप आ जाएगा. मतलब whatever you have written, I'll ठीक है, हाँ ये भी सही है, ये भी सही, मार्क्स दे दो बस. That impression is very very important, है ना. That impression begins with the introduction, and being that, try to keep it very short, very crispy. At the same time, थोड़ा हो सकता है तो थोड़ा सा interesting, right? You should directly come to the topic. I am telling you should directly come to the topic. I have seen many of the introduction जहां पर पूरा कहानी लिखते हैं, 2 पेज का आंसर होता है, 1 पेज का इंट्रोडक्शन होता है. Please don't do such mistakes. Now, what are the different ways of writing introduction? कैसे कैसे लिख सकते हैं? I have listed the ways which I have seen. It doesn't mean that these are the only ways of writing introduction. You can write, you can innovate on your own, but these are the some common ones. The most important, most common one is definition. Directly start with the definition. Okay, जैसे मैंने बताया था, analyze the impact of high inflation on Indian economy. Start with what is inflation. Okay, high inflation कब होगा? Start with the impacts. बस simple. Definition is the most common and it is the most safe one. आपको ज्यादा सोचने का भी टाइम नहीं. अगर टाइम नहीं है, बस 7.5 मिनट्स में लिखना है, 5 मिनट बचा है, क्वेश्चन ठीक से समझ लिया, डायरेक्टली स्टार्ट विद द डेफिनेशन, राइट द ब्रीफ, आंसर, कंक्लूड कर दो, हो गया. जहां पर टाइम नहीं है, जहां पर ज्यादा कुछ सोचने का स्कोप नहीं है, डायरेक्टली स्टार्ट विद द डेफिनेशन. सेकेंड वन, एनीथिंग रिलेटेड टू करंट अफेयर्स, यू कैन ब्रिंग द कंटेक्स्ट. Certain topics usually they are relevant to current affairs. Suppose मानो there is a question related to disaster. Okay, cyclone risk mitigation करने के लिए क्या क्या करना है? This is the question. What are the steps required to be taken to mitigate the impact of cyclone in India? You can start with the recent cyclone which has impacted the coast of eastern India. है ना, उड़ीसा में लैंडफॉल हुआ था. This is the cyclone which came and उसका नाम लिखो, and this has created so and so. It has resulted in so and so losses, and India is more prone to such kind of cyclones, so that is why it is very much required that we need to take the mitigation measures before it happens, and these are the mitigation measures we should take. है ना, इससे क्या होता है, like the examiner will know that हाँ you have read the current affairs and you are regularly in touch with the current news items. ना, ये बड़ा impression create करता है. It gives a very good impression. ठीक है, so this guy knows even not only about the static part, even about the current part. Please give some of the answers in definition and some of the answers in current affairs. Please don't write only one type of introduction. जो भी current news item है, if at all it is relevant, please bring it and write it. That is how you can start an introduction. And third type is writing with certain facts. ये भी important है. Any fact, any important fact related to that particular answer, you can start with that. Suppose the question is why India has, what are the reasons that India has so much of malnutrition population? Okay, particularly children में, why there is so much of high children population which are undernourished or malnutrition? You can start with a simple fact. Okay, the so and so percentage of India's children below the 5 years are malnourished. Following are the reasons. A direct simple fact will make a direct impact in the minds of the reader. मतलब if at all I am reading and you give a simple fact that explains a lot. अगर आपको malnutrition का overall difficulty, overall image को समझाना है, usually you will take one big paragraph. In that one big paragraph, rather than writing that, you are just justifying that in a one single fact. That is always good. The facts are important. Facts, you can use these facts in the questions like geography, इकोनॉमिक्स, सोशल इश्यूज, राइट, बहुत काम आएगा. सो इसको आप रेगुलरली देखना है. ऐसा नहीं कि एक दिन बैठ के पूरा आप फैक्ट्स पढ़ लोगे एंड पूरा आंसर लिख दोगे, ये कभी भी नहीं होता है. यू हैव टू सी देम इन रेगुलर बेसिस. सो व्हेनेवर यू have seen an important fact and you think you can write this in the answer, please make a note of such important facts. That is going to be very useful. ना बहुत काम आएगा आपको. कोट तो मैंने बता दिया. A quote you can introduce an answer with a simple quote. At least 20 में एक आंसर में तो एटलीस्ट कोट लिखने का कोशिश करो. Not every answer. Again I am saying don't use the same type of introduction in every answer. You should mix and match. At least एक आंसर में out of 20 प्लीज ट्राई टू राइट ए कोट जहां पर फिट होगा. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फिट होना चाहिए. अगर फिट नहीं हुआ तो इट गिव्स ए नेगेटिव इंप्रेशन, इट विल बी काउंटर प्रोडक्टिव, है ना. राइट द कोट एंड इट शुड फिट ओवर देयर एंड इट शुड बी ए सिंपल वन, शॉर्ट वन. ऐसा नहीं कि पूरा कहानी स्टोरी लिख रहे हो. एंड राइट इट इन इंग्लिश. इन essay you have the option of writing in Hindi and then giving a translation, writing a big quote or anecdote और जो भी जिससे कहानी सुनाने, वो सब ऑप्शन essay में है, बट जनरल स्टडीज आंसर में नहीं रहता है. ओके, सिंपल कोट कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं. सपोज फॉर एग्जाम्पल, what is the role of council of ministers in parliamentary system? If this is the question, you can start with a simple quote like the council of ministers swims together or sink together. है ना. It's a simple quote but it makes it gives a lot of meaning, है ना. बहुत ज्यादा impact है. If you start that with your answer, है ना, if you start your answer with that particular quote, बहुत सही रहेगा. And finally there is another important method like significance or importance of that particular thing. अगर ये कोई भी नहीं मिला then you go for this significance or importance. And particularly the questions related to the modern India और history, culture, वहां पर आप significance से start कर सकते हो. If the question is something related to the Mauryan administration, you can start with a simple fact why Mauryan administration is important. Okay, the question was asking about the various things in the Mauryan administration. You start with a very simple fact why Mauryan administration was important. What is Mauryan kingdom? Why it was important? This is the first pan India kingdom. मतलब pan India level पे एक kingdom पूरा establish किया, वो थे Mauryans. You can start with a simple importance like that is what I am saying, significance or important of that particular subject. Weightage तो मैंने बता दिया. If it is a 10 marker, it is 1.5, 1 to 1.5. It is a 15 marker like 2 to 2.5. Okay, it varies from one type of question to another. ठीक है? That is all about introduction. So we have few queries. Let me see the queries. So Rishabh has a doubt, what will be the current approach to that nuclear trend question? See, that question was very simple one. The question was talking about nuclear households. Nuclear households का मतलब समझना है आपको पहले. Nuclear households are basically the small households. जो पहले जो joint big households था ना, तो joint family वो खत्म होके nuclear households is the latest one. मतलब जो working population है उनका पूरा nuclear household होता है. So the question basically talks that it is pointed that in the recent times while the proportional share of nuclear households has dipped in the urban areas, it has risen in rural areas. Analyze the reason behind the trend. So they are basically saying ये जो nuclear small households रहता है ना, small family, वो जो पहले urban areas में ज़्यादा था, but बोल रहे urban areas में अभी कम हो रहा है and rural areas में ज़्यादा हो रहा है nuclear households. So this is a question of sociology, social issues का subject है. So over the period of time how the nuclear households have increased in rural areas, उसका reasons क्या है, ये सारा चीज़ें आपको बात करना है ना. social issues में society में आप पढ़ोगे इसके बारे में. A good introduction, I have few examples of good introduction. You can see Discuss how the design of MG-NREGA program makes it more successful than other rural development programs. See, जो भी good answers में दिखा रहा हूँ ना, these are the answers of our previous toppers. जो bad examples है वो तो नहीं है, वो तो अलग है. Good examples, good answers जो which I am showing, these are the answers of previous toppers. You can see. Okay, in this answer you can see it's a very simple and direct introduction. Discuss how the design of MG-NREGA program makes it more successful than other rural development program. MG-NREGA में क्या ऐसे है कि ये बहुत सक्सेस हो गया है ना. Starts with a simple definition, simple introduction of MG-NREGA. What is MG-NREGA? MG-NREGA is a rural employment generation program launched in 2005. This aims to provide compulsory job to all applied. This has been great success in improving the living standard of rural poor. Simple है but effective है ना. लोग बहुत टाइम दिमाग देते हैं बहुत ब्यूटीफुल इंट्रोडक्शन देने के लिए. प्लीज रिमेंबर, आप ऐसे सिंपल एंड डायरेक्ट इंट्रोडक्शन भी दे दो, एक ही मार्क मिलेगा. बहुत ब्यूटीफुल इंट्रोडक्शन दे दो, तब भी एक ही मार्क मिलेगा. ठीक है. प्रियोरिटी, प्लीज कीप दिस सिंपल एंड इजी इंट्रोडक्शन, बट वंस इन ए वाइल थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्टिंग लगा दो. इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट, इंटरेस्टिंग कोट, वंस इन ए वाइल. यू डोंट हैव टू राइट दिस, राइट एन इंट्रोडक्शन वेरी ब्यूटीफुल, इंटरेस्टिंग, बहुत सारा अच्छा कहानी हर इसमें लिखने का जरूरी नहीं है. ये देखो, according to recent WHO report, India sees the largest number of suicides globally. In this context, enumerate the objectives and approach of India's new national mental health policy. Also explain what is mental health action plan 365. Okay, it's about a policy, mental health policy. Okay, and this person has started the answer very nicely. You can see. It is certainly shocking for the land of Buddha and Mahavir, known for yoga, meditation, mental peace and harmony, to be placed on the first position for the number of suicide cases. बाकी आंसर बाद में. आवर आइडिया इज टू सी हाउ नाइसली ही हैज रिटन द इंट्रोडक्शन. मतलब देखते हैं, हाँ थोड़ा सा लगेगा हाँ बहुत सही है, ऐसे वाला बीच बीच में होना चाहिए. दैट क्रिएट्स अ वेरी गुड इंप्रेशन. यू कैनॉट डू दिस फॉर ऑल द आंसर्स. आई एम टेलिंग अगेन, यू कैनॉट डू दिस फॉर ऑल द आंसर्स. यू शुड ट्राई टू मिक्स. पॉलिटी का ये तो बहुत सिंपल है. यूजुअली पॉलिटी का वी स्टार्ट विद द प्रोविजन इटसेल्फ. दिस क्वेश्चन talks about all India service, all India judicial service. So what is the article? Article 312, which empowers Rajya Sabha to pass a resolution for the creation of new all India service, including all India judicial service. Simple. This is the most common introduction which is used in polity. India's health system is one of the most privatized in the world, poorly regulated, accessible only to those with income levels above the average. Comment. India is said to have the world's youngest population by 2020. In order to reap the benefits of demographic dividend, investing in health and education is paramount. Can you see? This is the way of highlighting the significance or importance of the subjects. देखा? Is that clear? So any doubts about approach and introduction? ठीक है, you have any doubts, you please raise it in the query platform. और कुछ है तो एंड में क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर करते हैं. So next part, body of the answer. So what is this body of the answer? Body of the answer talks about the demand of the question, मतलब the core of the answer. तो इसके लिए आपको सब्जेक्ट नॉलेज चाहिए. Okay, you need content for this. Body of the answer is directly depend on the content. ये जो claps में C है ना, that is content. Fine. So the demand of the question mainly talks about the content which is required for the answer. Fine. And here content can be divided into two types. One is the main content, another one is additional content. Okay, I'll tell you. when I talk about content, I'll tell you. Content we can divide into main content and additional content. Additional content has many supportive content like examples, figures, maps, all these things we call it as additional content. The main content is the main subject, the main matter which I am expecting to read, without which all these examples, all these things will not be of any use. I should see the main matter first, then only you can justify that with the examples. So this one, main content, you develop it over the period of time. Okay, you have started your answers, you have started your the classes for now, like since last 1 or 2 months you might have started to prepare. So gradually you will develop this. But whenever you are writing an assignment, assignment will be given to you at the end of the class, right? Once the class is complete, once the topic is complete, you will not have any shortage of content. You should please remove that. Many people, trust me, this is not the doubt, not only the freshers, even a person who has completed his course, Pura foundation course has been done, the entire foundation course has been done, and still he will find it difficult to write the content because he doesn't believe that he has enough content. Content should be basic, it should be there, but it is not everything. You should have the basic content. Basic content to mil jayega once you start to do your basic course and want to start to study the basic sources. Basic content you will have enough, basic content will be there. Fine. So, but please don't think that this is everything. In UPSC we have seen many questions, which does not require any specific study at all. Even you open any of the previous paper, you just open it by yourself and try to see. There would be few questions which you can answer even at this point of time, even before completing your course. Before completing your coaching, you will be able to answer many of them. That one you have to keep in mind. Whatever we teach in the class, whatever you read from the textbook, that is just going to add on to your preparation. Preparation is something which you already have it, and it is something, a continuous thing. Not only now, even after you join your service, all India service, IS, IPS, जो भी join करेंगे ना, so even during that you have to keep learning. Preparation is something continuous, but that doesn't mean that you are not ready for the exam. You have to remove that completely from your mind. Fine. So this is the most basic thing everyone should understand, whoever is writing the answer. The first important thing, what stops a person from writing the answer, is the thing that he thinks that I have not prepared. I don't know about this topic. I have not prepared. As long as you keep that in your mind, you will not start writing the answer. Start writing the answer, fine. Whatever I know, based on that I'll write the answer. In that process, you will learn, you will understand more. You will understand more to that extent that you will start to write in a better way. With a limited content, if you are able to write in a better way, that is the requirement here. Is that clear? If at all I am talking about the body of the answer, it is basically about the demand of the question, which talks about the content. Content has two parts. One is main content, additional content. Okay, main content comes along with your preparation, but please don't think this is everything which you read from the textbook or what you read from the class. There are many things which you can write by yourself using your common sense. Keep that in mind. Additional content I will discuss separately, okay, in the heading of content. And the body of answer, while writing the body of the answer, it is very important that you break the entire demand into different parts. It is one thing that you have divided the answer into introduction, body, conclusion, but the body of the answer will have multiple parts. The main demand of the answer will have multiple parts other than the introduction and conclusion. You should be able to identify that. And that is very easy to identify in a direct question, but it is a bit difficult to identify in case of an indirect question. Okay, there will be many indirect questions in the question paper, particularly paper 2 and paper 3. Paper 1 is bit more direct. Paper 2 and paper 3 is bit more indirect. They will give you a statement, they will add a keyword, analyze, critically analyze, evaluate, discuss. Okay, so as Sakshi is asking, so I'll discuss that in the end. What is the meaning of this? Okay, so your doubt is how our approach will change according to the keyword. Yes, keyword is everything. See, our approach का मतलब है, so the meaning of approach is to make a broad framework of the answer before you start writing the answer. This is something common for every answer. In which direction you have to write the answer, that is depend on the keyword. Keyword will decide the direction, in which direction you will take your answer. Right? I'll tell you the basic meaning of these different keywords so that you will be able to write, you will be able to start writing the answer. Fine, in the end I'll tell you the basic meaning of these different keywords. But an indirect question is bit difficult to crack into multiple parts, whereas a direct question is easy to identify the different parts. For example, take this. This is an example of direct question. The question says, why is the distribution of major fishing areas skewed towards the higher latitudes as compared to the tropics? First part, what are the challenges that the fishery industry is facing globally? Second part, enumerate the measures taken by the various international bodies in order to make the activity more sustainable. Third part, introduction about the fishing industry. Then you come to the first part, that is why it is more skewed towards the higher latitudes. Second part, challenges. Third part, the measures taken. Clear? A direct question is easy to identify the different parts, whereas an indirect question bit tricky. Fine, I am enabling this response portal. Please read this question carefully and give me what should be the different parts of this. Leave about introduction and conclusion. I don't want introduction and conclusion. I'm asking what should be the different parts of this body. The main answer should have what are the different parts. Please try to identify and write your response in the response portal. Okay, I told you this is an indirect question. It's not pretty simple or clear in the question. What are the different parts? What are the things should be there? According to you, how many parts are there and what are they? Okay, I need response only about this, nothing else. जो भी other queries हैं, please send it in the query platform. Please tell me what exactly are the different parts. I want part number 1, part number 2, part number 3. ऐसे multiple parts जो भी आप identify करोगे ना, I want the exact parts to be mentioned. let's see who was given the right answer, who was able to identify it. So one of you have written powers of governor, nature of his power, source of power, how he fulfills. टाइम नहीं मिलता है, स्पेस भी नहीं मिलेगा आपको. So this is beyond the demand area. Formulation and indiscrete application of discretionary. ठीक है, you are just repeating the question itself. Governor act independently, not according to the wisdom of any party he belongs to. Okay, let's see. Sia has written, the first one is discretionary power of the governor, second one, how can we maintain checks on his power. ठीक है, it's a good attempt. Who is governor, his powers, challenges, reforms, conclusion. ठीक है, that's a good attempt Ritika, but it is not complete. The process of election of governor, come on, this is totally beyond. To the discretionary power, which one of application of these powers, nature of powers, application, wide formulation, application, concerns and solutions. ठीक है, सौमिल सक्सेना, good attempt, almost right. Lomash Bharadwaj, power of governor, recent misuses, how to check this, almost right. So Sakshi का आंसर देखो, what are the discretionary powers of governor, concerns about it, way forward. No, this is a kind of very generic. I would want more specific. ठीक है. So many others have also tried to give the answer. It's a good attempt. Many of you have there. I'll have shortage of time to read all. So I'll tell you what exactly is this. See, other than introduction and conclusion, chodo. Other than that, what are the things which you have to identify? So there are three parts here. So if you read the question very carefully, it says the concerns regarding the wide formulation and indiscreet application of discretionary powers of the governor. So किसका बात हो रहा है? So basically the question is about the discretionary powers of the governor. Right? The question talks about the discretionary power of the governor. And the question itself says the discretionary powers are very widely formulated and their application is also very indiscreet. है ना? The question says the discretionary power of the governor are very widely given. मतलब the discretionary powers of the governor are very wider than the president. ये तो पता है ना? President से बहुत ज़्यादा wider है. And application level पे बहुत और भी है. Okay, there are certain things related to discretionary power. जैसे कि one such power. Okay, very funny. You will read that in your textbook also. It is the discretion of the governor to decide whether a particular function is discretionary or not. समझा? Who decides whether it is a discretionary power or not? Governor himself. That is also a discretionary power. So it is very widely formulated and applied in a very indiscreet manner. This is the first part. Okay, the first part is not just the discretionary power. The first part is about how they are given, how the discretionary powers are given, the nature of the discretionary power. It is not the discretionary power. Many of you will make the mistake of listing the discretionary power. Okay, these are the discretionary power. जरूरी है ही नहीं है. The first part is talking about the wide formulation and indiscreet application. You should describe the nature of discretionary power. That is the first part. Second part, because of that there are certain concerns. That is second part. Here you tell that because of this kind of nature of discretionary power, it has resulted in certain concerns with recent examples. Okay, with recent examples you try to explain. And the third part says it requires a closer attention. Matlab, what measures are required to be taken? To solve this problem, what measures are to be taken? These three parts should be there in your answer. Then only you will get the full mark. थोड़ा सा difficult है. It will take time. With time, you will be able to exactly understand the demand of the question. तो इसलिए क्या करना है? So I would say please try to read as many questions as possible. जितना हो सके उतना देखो. Try to see regularly the previous papers. You don't have to write the answers. At least try to imagine the answer. Try to develop the answer in your mind. इसका आंसर क्या होना चाहिए? उसके लिए आपको पहले समझना चाहिए what is the demand. वहां पर आपको differentiate करना है. Okay, this is the first part, this is the second part, this is the third part. Try to see such questions on daily basis. With that, you will be able to develop the practice of solving them, practice of identifying the different parts. Is that clear? And there are two things here. One is the order of these different parts and the weightage of these different parts. Both are different. मतलब यहाँ पर देखो डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन में है ना, तो हमने आइडेंटिफाई किया था फर्स्ट पार्ट, सेकंड पार्ट, थर्ड पार्ट. यूजुअली डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन में जिस ऑर्डर में दिया है यू कैन आंसर इन दैट ऑर्डर ओनली. बट एन इनडायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन यू हैव टू डिसाइड विच ऑर्डर, क्योंकि यहाँ पर देखो कंसर्न्स बाद में है. First you have to talk about the discretionary power and their nature, then the concern and then the attention. है ना? You will decide the order and also the weightage would also vary. ऐसा नहीं है कि there are three parts and all three parts will carry equal parts. यहाँ पर maximum weightage will be given to the concerns and the attention. They are not asking you about the discretionary powers here. Briefly talk about their nature and talk more about the concern and more about the suggestions. Okay, keep that in mind. The weightage would vary. Conclusion. जैसे जैसे introduction, the way introduction is a very important part, in the same way conclusion is also an important part. Okay, any business deal, business meeting, it's not like once you talk about the business you will immediately shut down the laptop and close the business deal. अभी तो क्योंकि सारा virtual meetings होता है. Okay, if at all you are meeting the person directly, it's not like after immediately talking about the business you will just get up and go. Okay, there should not be a kind of abruptness in your answer. Remember that your answer should not end abruptly. That is first thing. It should not end abruptly. Abrupt ending नहीं होना चाहिए. Second, do not end your answer with the problems. Do not end your answer with the problems alone. कोई भी आंसर, ये दोनों याद रखो, आपका खुद डिसाइड कर लोगे whether introduction has to be written or not. है ना? दो सिंपल चीजें हैं. Do not end your answer abruptly. Do not end your answer with the problems. Abruptly का मतलब क्या है? Even a question might be abruptly talking about it. मतलब the question is just talking about what are the things. है ना? Why exactly there is an issue of water scarcity in India? You will list these are the reason, these are the reason, these are the reason. खत्म. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. You after writing all these reasons, you have to write a paragraph. In spite of this, we are taking these measures to overcome that, or we have to take more measures because we have the second largest population in the world. है ना? हमारा demand for water has been increasing, water scarcity has been increasing. इसके लिए हमें काम करना पड़ेगा. So that is where you are not ending abruptly. Do not end the answer abruptly. Second thing is, do not end the answer with the problems alone. Why? Because all of us are civil service aspirants. The job of a civil service aspirant is to find the answers, find the solution, not to highlight the problem. वो कोई भी कर सकता है. Even in the common citizen can highlight the problem. है ना? Anyone can highlight the problem. It's about finding the solution. That is where you are going to work. Your answer should reflect that. It should reflect the nature of a civil servant. If it was the same question, है ना, what are the reasons behind the water scarcity in India? These are the reason, ये भी है, फिर end में suggest करोगे, है ना, since these are the issues, we need to take so and so measures. At least 2-3 measures you have to suggest. Because you are not going to end an answer with the problem. ये दोनों याद रखो. You will find the answer to your question whether conclusion is required or not. क्योंकि certain questions come with the complete package. मतलब उसमें challenges भी पूछते हैं, solutions भी पूछते हैं. If the question itself is asking what are the reasons for water scarcity and what are the measures to be taken, the answer itself is complete. उसके बाद में again दोबारा लिखने का जरूरी नहीं है. That is where we said please don't double write the conclusion. क्योंकि conclusion has been written as part of the body itself. There you don't have to write. If the question is just talking about the problems, then you have to make another conclusion. ठीक है? That is where it is necessary. You need to identify that. Can you see यहाँ पर where the conclusion is not necessary? यहाँ पर दोनों, in this question it is not going to end abruptly, it is not going to end with the problem, क्योंकि these questions are direct question. Okay, particularly this question, it is a direct question. यहाँ पर कोई abruptness आपको दिखता ही नहीं है. Whereas an indirect question where your opinion is being given, there you have to end with some kind of suggestion, some kind of solution. यहाँ पर तो solution suggestion ही नहीं है. It is some concept you are just being asked, you are just telling the answer for this concept. Can you read this? What do you understand by ITCZ? Discuss the annual fluctuation and shifting of ITCZ and significance for India. Simple है. Wherever there are direct questions, particularly geography, a fact based, a concept based, जहां पर आपका ओपिनियन है ही नहीं है, there don't worry about writing another conclusion. यहां पर फिर दोबारा ITCZ का नेचर के बारे में लिख के, since ITCZ nature is so and so, हमें और कुछ करना है, ये सारा कहानी मत बताओ. Directly end it with whatever they have asked. Fine? So where you don't have to write the conclusion, please list. The first one, wherever there is a direct question, where your opinion is not asked, where some concept is being asked, you are just explaining the concept without analyzing, without giving your opinion. Not required. Second one, ये वाला क्वेश्चन देखो, enumerate the issues associated with the functioning of tribunal in India and how can these be addressed. This question is a complete question, पूरा पैकेज है इसके अंदर. Start with what is tribunal, second come to the issues, third the measures. खत्म. दोबारा conclusion के नाम पे और मत लिखना. So second, where you don't have to write the conclusion, where solution is part of body itself. Solution is part of body itself, वहां पर भी conclusion जरूरी नहीं है. यहां पर देखो, the growth of cities as IT hubs has opened up new avenues of employment but has also created new problems. Substantiate this statement with example. जैसे IT hubs बढ़ते बढ़ते जैसे opportunities create जैसे हुआ है, in the same way it has also created problems. है ना, इसको elaborate करोगे, but at the end you are not going to end with the problems. Here you have to write another conclusion saying इसको deal करने के लिए क्या क्या measure लेना है हमें. Right? How to deal with this? Please do not end your answer with the problems alone. Please do not end your answer with the problem alone. Wherever your question talks about the problem and it does not talk about the solution, create a conclusion and write the solution over there. Okay, see this question also. In light of demand for replacement of FPTP system with other alternatives, compare the merits and enumerate the challenges associated with the replacing the current system. Overall, it is talking about the debate between FPTP and the other system. What is the other system? Proportional representation, right? So here whenever you are debating about two choices, here definitely you have to write a conclusion. Finally, what you have to do? Should we go with FPTP or should we go with proportional? or should we go with the mix of all? Is that clear? By seeing the nature of the question, you should decide by yourself whether the conclusion is required or not. Generally, conclusion is not required wherever there is a direct question and wherever there is a solution already given as part of the question itself. Different ways of writing conclusion, these are the different ways of writing conclusion. You can give the suggestion directly. For example, if at all the question is about the reasons behind the water scarcity in India, what are the suggestions over there? The second way of writing the conclusion is directly mentioning some committees, reports. For example, in polity, you have many committees, second ARC committee, Sarkaria committee, Punchi committee, the committee on the constitution reforms. Like that, there are many committees. You can directly quote from this. This is going to be more useful rather than our own suggestions, but not in all the questions we will find the committee recommendations. There you can give the suggestions by your own. The third way of writing a conclusion, you are not giving any suggestion at all, rather than you are going to tell why we have to solve this problem, why we need to solve the problem. For example, if the question is about the sericulture, the problems associated with the sericulture in India, you will talk about all the problems, but in the end you are going to conclude why it is important that we solve the problems related to sericulture, because it is going to create an extra employment, additional income, women empowerment, because women are majorly involved in sericulture. We can use the arable land, like that. Why it is important, what is the significance of solving the problem. Or you can also talk about government initiatives, because that is also another way of concluding. It's not necessary that you always have to criticize the government. We don't have any we don't have any government initiatives. We don't have any scope for this. These are the problems. Try to write some initiative also. The government is taking so and so initiative. So this is going in a right direction. We need more such programs. Like that, talking about the government initiative or global initiative, both are fine. In environment, you can use the global initiatives. So these are some of the good conclusions from the previous toppers papers. Okay, this question can you read? Urban sanitation has not received adequate attention at the national level in the past, and few initiatives have been taken to tackle the deficiencies of urban sanitation. The question talks about urban sanitation. Okay, and this is the conclusion written over there. Therefore, though the vision behind SBA is appreciable, there is much more that needs to be done to make it successful in implementation. India is land of Gandhi, who is an epitome of sanitation and hygiene. We must live up to our name. Right? This is another answer, a very nicely written, structured answer. That's why I am showing it to you. There is only one mistake here. He has written the numbering beyond the margin, which you should not do. Otherwise, the answer is very good. The question you can see, identify the key objectives of POCSO Act 2012. Also highlight the challenges in its implementation. Right? A simple one. A brief introduction about POCSO Act, then the objectives, this first objective, second, third, fourth, fifth, then challenges, first challenge, second challenge, third challenge, fourth, fifth, and then finally conclusion. What is the conclusion? Hence the need of the hour is to give more teeth to the act and more power to the National Commission of Child Rights to bring offenders to justice and make India safe for children. Very simple and direct, but very effective. Okay, such kind of answers are very effective, very appreciable. Matlab, I don't have to make any effort in making them, in writing them, in reading them. So that is about the body of answer as well as the conclusion. And that is all about the structure. So I was talking about the basic ingredients required for an answer writing. First one is approach, second one is structure. We are done with these two. Third one is language. We'll talk about that. Language. How important is language in your answers? Some people say that the language is the most important thing. If you write in a very beautiful manner, very beautiful language, you will get full marks. Trust me, that is not the case. I myself have seen many of the students who are coming from a different background itself, who does not have much mastery over the language, who have studied all their education in their mother tongue, Hindi medium, Marathi medium, Tamil medium, Telugu medium, and here they have come and written their exam in English medium because they have a normal knowledge of English and they have got a very good marks. Why? Because language is a kind of connecting link between your content and the person who is reading it. So what is the job of language here? Language just does the job of conveying your content to the person who is reading your answer. It has no other significance at all. They are not going to check your answer based on how beautifully you are going to read. So please don't worry about that. But the idea is you should write in a very simple and easy to understandable manner. Easy to understand manner. But you have to ensure that there are no mistakes, the grammatical mistake, spelling mistake. So that one you should avoid. And even if you know the language very well, please try to write the answers in a very simple sentence. Please don't use too complex sentence, too complex language. Please avoid that. That is unnecessary. You are not going to get any extra mark for using very beautiful complex sentence statements. Please restrict to simple statements and ensure that there are no mistakes. Okay, not only the grammatical, even the punctuation, basic punctuations you should know how to use. Full stop, comma, question mark, double quotes. It has a very limited role, but it should be in such a manner that it will convey your content to the person who is reading your answer. That is overall about language. There is nothing much. Keep it simple. Okay, simple language, simple sentence. But one thing you have to understand, if at all you are writing any subjective answer, matlab the answer related to a particular subject, try to use those words more. You are writing an answer in polity and constitution, try to use the words related to polity and constitution. That is required. That shows that you know the subject. If you are writing the answer in geography, you should use geographical terms. That is different. That is not language. It's not part of the language. Language people worry about writing about in a beautiful sentence, complex statements. वो नहीं है. But you have to show your knowledge through this language. है ना? Like the parliamentary democracy, the grassroots devolution of power. वो दिखना चाहिए. That should be there in your answer. If at all you are writing the polity answers, geography answers, the geographical terms should be there in your answers. Otherwise, don't worry much about the English language as such. Fine. Very briefly, that is about the language. Let's take a short break, 10 minutes of break, and after that I'll talk briefly about content and presentation. Then we can have a question and answer session, so where you can ask. I'll also briefly explain the meaning of different terms so that it will be you can start writing the answers. Fine. So let's take a short break. So we have covered the three important aspects of answer writing. First one was approach, second was structure, and third was language. So let me talk briefly about this content and presentation. So I am saying briefly because so you are yet to develop complete mastery over the content, so which comes gradually, but at the same time, so you should understand that there would be many things which you know through common sense and through general knowledge which you will be able to write. So you should keep that always in mind. There is nothing like you will always read from a textbook, you will always read from a notes and go and write the answers. Please come out of that kind of mentality. You should always be ready to write the answer with whatever the content you have. Content, there is no end, there is no limitation. It's not like you will prepare for 1 year, 2 year, then content will be over, then you will give the answer. You prepare for 6 years, you prepare for 10 years, UPSC's content will not end at all. Keep that in mind. Right? So in that context, main content तो आपको समझ आ जाएगा. Gradually you will understand. So there is, along with the main content, there is some additional content which you have to write in your answer. So what are these additional content? Additional content basically adds value to your main content, which we can say is supportive content, which supports the main content. And they are very, very important. In fact, in many of the answer, it is your additional content which comes to the rescue rather than the actual main content. So because whatever you do, आप कितना भी prepare करो, how much ever you prepare, there would always be certain questions where you had not prepared, where you had not heard about this. So how to approach those kind of questions? So if you ask me, if it is totally unknown question where you have no idea, please don't attempt such kind of questions. You have no idea at all. It is talking entirely about some international organization, some international mission or a scheme or something which you don't know at all. Please skip such kind of questions. Don't worry about that. However, if you know a bit about the topic, suppose a question is related to something social issue, something related to society where you have some idea, some knowledge about it, but you have not read specifically about it. In that case, try to attempt them, but attempt in a limited manner. If it is about 3 pages answer, at least 1.5 page tak aap likh sakte ho. You can write up to that. There, try to use more such additional content. What are these additional content? Facts, examples, figures, maps, as well as flow charts. The more you write these in your answer, the more valuable your answer is. Even if you know the full main content, even if you actually know the complete answer, even then I would say please substantiate them with this additional content. So it adds value to your answer. Suppose you are talking about a simple example, we'll come back to the same question which we took. What are the factors affecting the distribution of iron and steel industries in India? You know that various factors. There you have to write the examples. With examples and show it in a map. You will definitely get 1 or 2 extra marks over there. That is definitely confirmed. Matlab I can say for sure you will definitely get an extra mark over there. Try to write as many examples as possible and as many facts as possible. Facts log bolte, it is very difficult to remember facts, and and particularly our engineers, so they say very proudly, I cannot remember facts. If you don't remember facts, it's your loss. Trust me. In UPSC, you have to know certain facts, particularly the questions related to economics, the questions related to geography. You don't know the facts, you will not be able to justify your answer. Some important facts it is required. Why? Because talk does not cook rice. right? खाली बातें से you cannot just justify anything. You need a substantiation. So that is done by this additional content. You can write both these examples, facts as much as possible, as well as figures. Figures, particularly geography. Geography, any particular figure, a simple figure showing the rainfall, the cloud formation, or the different types of drainage pattern. If at all you are explaining different types of drainage pattern, dendritic drainage pattern, rectangular drainage pattern, trellis drainage pattern, radial drainage pattern, like this. Simple diagrams, they are always appreciated. Please try to write them as much as possible. And maps, most importantly. If the question talks about distribution of something, distribution of mineral, distribution of a crop, or distribution of an industry, where you can show multiple locations in a map, please write them. Don't miss that opportunity. That is an extra mark you are going to miss. And in geography answers, if you don't write them, I'm saying that is expected. As an evaluator, I would expect that you write the map. You don't write them, I'll deduct a mark. Okay, it's total 10 mark and you have written a very good answer, I will give you 5 mark. Right? If you don't write a map, I'll give you 4 marks over there. It is expected. But there are certain other topics where it is not expected, but still you can write the answer to gain an extra mark. Suppose a question related to security, talking about the security of border regions. Various issues, where exactly we have this drug trafficking, where do we have this the counterfeiting of currency, where exactly what are the factors affecting in which regions. There you show a simple map and show this, this is Pakistan border, so there is an issue of counterfeit currency here, this is Bangladesh border, this is Nepal border, there is the issue of drug trafficking here. So that an evaluator will always be happy to see that. क्योंकि बाकी लोग तो सोचते ही नहीं है. Any other person would not have thought about it, and you are writing this. So in the place of getting 5 mark, you will get a 6 mark over there, an extra mark. You can write such maps in disaster management, in security, in international relations, even in history. If it is about a distribution of something, the extent of the kingdom, their administration, their different locations, their practices, ये सारा चीजें if it is there. And flow charts are something, ये जो मैंने अभी बनाया है ना, the simple flow chart, this is what we call it as flow chart. And always remember there is no alternative to the main content. You cannot write a flow chart instead of main content. Flow chart always supports the main content. And many people I have seen myself, they just write the flow chart in the actual answer. Please don't do that mistake. We want you to write. You are not explaining the answer to someone who doesn't know the answer. I already know the answer. What am I checking here? Whether you know the answer or not. So you cannot, if you just write a flow chart, that I would feel it as arrogance. Even if all the points are there, I will give less marks over there. Don't write just flow charts. Write some content and support them with a simple flow chart so that your answer looks more attractive. Always remember that. Fine. So that is content and additional content. So let's also talk about the presentation briefly. Presentation has certain aspects. One important aspect is the first one, whether to write in point form or paragraph form. Whether to write in point form or paragraph form. So there is an advantage of writing in point form, there is an advantage of writing in paragraph form. What is the advantage of writing in point form? You can write more points, more content in less words. Right? So what is the advantage of writing in paragraph form? It feels good for the person who is reading. There is a continuity in the answer. Please write both. Don't stick to any particular type. Okay, you might have heard some of the toppers saying you write in point form, some of them saying paragraph form. But it is not suggested that you stick to one particular style, because that is decided by the nature of the question. If the question is a bit more analytical, where you are explaining something, please stick to paragraph form. If the question is a bit more objective, where I am asking you what are the problems, what are the solutions, what are the suggestions, where you are objectively defining, stick to the point form. Is that clear? This is very simple. Keep that in mind. Wherever you are explaining something, you are analyzing something, and there is a requirement of continuity, use the paragraph form. Wherever there is more objectivity, use the point form. This is assuming that you know the entire content. Suppose you know less content. In a question you know less content, use the paragraph form so that पूरा आपका 3 पेज का पूरा जो कंटेंट है वो हो जाए. You know more content in that, you want to fit in, use the point form so that you can fit in more content over there. It is suggested always try to mix and match, and do not write the points in the introduction and in the conclusion. An introduction and conclusion always should be a paragraph form. So in between you can use the point form. Right? Also try to use subheadings as much as possible. Subheadings. Subheadings means we divided the question into multiple parts. Hai na? So if the question is about the challenges, what are the provisions of this particular act, जो previous answer में मैंने दिखाया था, POXO Act, what are the provisions, what are the challenges, there you write the provisions, make an underline, then give it in a point form. Challenges, make an underline, then give it in a point form. Use this subheadings, that always brings more presentation. मतलब उसका जो answer का visibility है ना वो ज़्यादा हो जाता है. It increases the visibility. It makes the answer more easy to read, easy to understand, rather than just dumping the points in a very haphazard manner. Divide into multiple headings, but at any cost don't write the subheadings of introduction, body, conclusion. Please don't write. For a person who is reading your answer, he himself will understand whether it is an introduction, whether it is a conclusion, or whether it is a body. Don't write at all. You should not write the headings of introduction, body, conclusion. Then underlining. It is very important that you underline. Answer should be underlined as much as possible, जितना हो सके. But your entire answer should not be underlined. है ना? Few of the answers I have seen myself. सब underline हो जाता है. Like every answer, every point will be underlined. That defeats the purpose of underlining itself. What is the purpose of underlining? To highlight certain important points. Those important points which you think is the gist of that particular paragraph, just underline. One paragraph, there should be only one underline. This is the normal rule. One paragraph, underline that particular one or two words which provides the gist of that particular paragraph. Or second, an important fact, important example, important information which you don't want the examiner to miss, please underline that. Otherwise don't underline too much. It should not be too much of underlining. Okay, and underline immediately. When you write that particular point, when you write that paragraph, immediately you should underline. Don't go to the end of the answer, write the full answer, then come back and underline. Please don't do that. That is a waste of time. And don't use a different color to underline. जिस पेन पे आप लिखोगे वही उसी में underline करना. Another important, handwriting. Handwriting. How important is handwriting? Have you seen my handwriting? Of course, ये जो digital board आके तो handwriting और खराब हो गया. Otherwise, मेरा handwriting भी इतना बड़ा नहीं, like it's not that big, that beautiful. Okay, but I have seen many of the candidates whose handwriting is worse than me clearing with a very good marks. It is the same as we discussed in the context of language. Language, the way it communicates your content to the person who is reading your answer, the same job is also done by handwriting. Okay, the only thing is that it should be legible. That means for a person who is reading it, he should be able to understand it without much effort. Without much effort. If at all you are writing in a very beautiful handwriting, you will not be given any extra mark for that. You write a very beautiful handwriting and content तो पूरा खचड़ा है, extra mark नहीं मिलेगा. Content के हिसाब से ही आपको marks मिलेगा. Fine. The marks will be given based on your content, but handwriting does the job of conveying that to the person who is reading it. Illegible handwriting, बहुत खराब handwriting है. You have done too much of striking out. So there they will deduct the marks also. That is UPSC's instruction. there is a negative marking even in mains. They will deduct certain marks for such things. Even writing beyond the margin, they will deduct marks. Okay, and striking out the next question and continuing the previous answer over there, they will deduct marks. Remember, you should write the answer within the given word limit in that space only, not beyond the margin. And handwriting should be legible, but that doesn't mean that you should join a handwriting class separately to improve your handwriting. That is not required. Just write something and give it to some school children. Any school student, if he is able to and read it without much effort, that means your handwriting is fine. And also ensure that you don't make certain mistake. So you should not write C like this. Okay, people don't differentiate between C and E. Certain basic things are there. This is C, this is E, right? कभी-कभी C लिखते समय ऐसे हो जाता है, it looks like E. So such common mistakes, please identify and rectify by yourself. So that gives a bad impression. That makes the evaluator think that you don't know the spellings itself. Fine. Now, let's come to the last part. That is basically about the presentation. So let's come to the last part, that is the keywords, the meaning of important keywords. Okay, I'll talk about this briefly, then we'll have a question and answer session. So whatever the doubts you have, you can ask. Then, so let me show it here. See, the keywords are basically those words which are there in the question, which you have to identify them in the approach only. Approach का पहली part में आपको identify करना है what is the meaning of these keywords, where you are just describing something. We call them as descriptive keyword. Descriptive keyword. So another type of keyword is where you are prescribing something. We call it as prescriptive keyword. Prescriptive keyword. What is the difference between these two? Descriptive keywords, those keywords which are asking you to describe which has already happened. Describe something which has already happened. You are not giving your own opinion at all. आपका खुद का opinion यहाँ पर नहीं है. Okay, it is already happened. For example, define, explain. If I am saying explain the theory of continental drift, that means you have to say what Alfred Wegener has explained the same in 1915. है ना, जो तब बोला था उसी को ही बोलना है. So that is what is descriptive. You are describing, you are saying about what has already happened. So what is prescriptive? Prescriptive, in the same context, if at all I am saying analyze the theory of continental drift, that means what do you think about this theory? What is your opinion? ठीक है? Please identify. Any type of keyword is either descriptive or prescriptive. Whether it is asking your opinion or you are just being asked to explain what is there. There are certain keywords which are descriptive in nature. First one is define. Define का मतलब क्या है? You have to give the definition. What is the definition of that? That is define. Second one is explain. What do you mean by explain? Explain is something where you are going to tell what happened and how it happened. Best example है, मान लो आप कहीं पार्टी में गए थे, you are coming late to the home and you have to explain why you came late to the home. You have to explain to your mother, right? That is what is explain. If at all explain is there, you have to see why something has happened, what has happened and why it happened. That is what is explain. A detailed explanation is called as describe. जब पूरा कहानी सुना के एक्सप्लेन करते हो ना, that is what is called as describe. Describe is detailed explanation. A detailed description is called as give an account of. What is give an account of? Detailed description. describe is detailed explanation. Clear? Simple है. And remember here you are just going to say what has happened. You are not asking, they are not asking your opinion. अब घर पे लेट आए हैं तो we are asking why you are late, what is the fact, what is the information over there. We are not asking your opinion about this. Clear? Give an account of. Then there is also a term called given account for. Given account for. What do you mean by given account for? So given account of, you are going to say how exactly it has happened. Given account for, you are going to say why exactly it has happened. The emphasis is on why. Given account of something means you are going to say how it exactly happened, how it led to everything. Given account for why something happened. It's more about why. And along with that, we also have other descriptive keywords. Like illustrate. Illustrate we use usually where you explain something along with figure. Okay, along with figure you explain, that is what is illustrate. We have demonstrate. Demonstrate the working of something. So usually science, engineering में आता है demonstrate. Elaborate. What do you mean by elaborate? Elaborate is something which is already said, उसको बड़ा करना है. There would be a statement. India has a system of parliamentary democracy. Elaborate. इसका मतलब है we have the system of parliamentary democracy. उसको explain करो. What are the features of this parliamentary democracy? Why India has it? Why we are saying Indian system is parliamentary democracy? Remember, elaborate में you should not go against the statement. If at all I am saying India has a system of parliamentary democracy, elaborate, you should not say no, India has no parliamentary system of development. These are the reasons. That is not expected. Please remember, elaborate का मतलब है you should assume the statement to be right. Right? Then we also have compare and contrast. Compare, contrast. Compare means, compare usually talks about the similarities, where contrast talks about the differences. But both are used interchangeably in UPSC's questions. So don't worry about that. Both talks majorly about the differences. है ना? So for now, I am not going to explain in too detail about this because इसको समझने में ही आपको time लगेगा. Understand the meaning of each of them. Don't go into too much of into asking me about difference between one or the another. That one you will get to know as you start to write the answer. जो एक और सेशन होगा ना, एडवांस लेवल में सेशन होगा, which will be taken after certain days. There it will be discussed in detail. Okay, there you can ask. पहले लिखना शुरू करो and using the assignments and tests, whatever you are writing this, but have the basic idea of these. Overall, you should understand these are all descriptive keywords. Prescriptive keywords, the most important, most common one, examine. What is the difference between examine and explain? Explain, we are asking you what exactly has happened. Okay, explain something. That means it has happened something, explain. You came late to the home, explain. Examine कब होगा? Okay, when father is saying your son has come late, please go and examine to the mother. Okay, mother will go and examine. She will develop her opinion. She will come back and discuss with the father. She will come back and discuss with her husband why her son is late. Okay, she will listen to the explanation from the son. She will come back and she will discuss with the husband saying this is my examination. So there she is giving her opinion. That is why this is prescriptive. Examine, wherever you are using the term examine, suppose मान लो examine, who exactly does the examine? The journalists. There is an accident on the road, they will come and examine. है ना? They will come and see the situation and understand the situation by themselves. They are not going to give any facts here. Of course facts should be there, but it is not only about the facts. Based on this is my opinion about this. ये एक्सीडेंट कैसे हुआ, किसके वजह से हुआ था, कौन कारण है, this is all your opinion. So that is what is examine. When I'm saying the situation, when I'm giving you a situation and asking you to examine, here I'm asking your opinion. Please keep that in mind. Examine is different from analyze. What is analyze? Analyze is a detailed examination where you break the topic into different parts and try to dig in deeper. जैसे कि there is an accident on the road between two different vehicles. A journalist will examine, whereas an investigating officer will analyze. He has the more freedom of going into the exact area, क्योंकि journalist को दूर से देखना है, whereas an investigating officer can go into the actual region, examine the evidence, question the people. A journalist cannot question everyone, right? But investigating officer can question. So that is the difference. अभी के लिए समझ लो, both are almost same. Analyze is bit more detailed manner. You can divide into multiple section and try to dig deeper. Exam is giving the overall picture. Discuss is similar to debate. A written debate is called as discuss. There would be for, against, and there would be conclusion. Okay, these are three. In addition to, we can add critically. You can critically examine, critically analyze, critically discuss. You can do the same without critically also. What is the difference critically is making? Whenever you add the word critically, it means that you have to give equal weightage to both for and against. If there is no critically, it does not mean that you don't have to give equal weightage. Generally जैसे लगेगा वैसे, but critically दे दिया तो special emphasis should be made to ensure that both the sides are represented equally. If at all it is examined, you will just go into the accident site and examine what exactly has happened. This is my overall analysis. काफी है. If at all I am saying critically examine, if at all I am saying specifically saying critically examine, you should talk both the perspective of one person as well as the opposite person. दोनों के perspective में कैसे हुआ था, and this is how the conclusion. That is what is critically. You add critically to anything, it is giving an equal space for both. यहाँ पर एक और आता है evaluate. What do you mean by evaluate? Evaluate basically to assess how much value is there in your arguments or facts or figures or whatever. If at all I am saying evaluate the arguments given by Alfred Wegener to support the theory of continental drift. He has given certain evidences. उसको evaluate करो. You are going to see, हाँ these are the things, but इसमें कितना सच है, इतना झूठ है. So this is right, this is wrong, you are going to give a conclusion. That is what is evaluate. कितना सच है, how much weightage is there in that. You can also say in terms of assess. Assess is also almost same as evaluate. And one important thing, comment. Comment का मतलब क्या है? Comment means to give your opinion on a particular topic, but not just any opinion, an opinion supported by evidence and facts. That is what is comment. खाली opinion तो कोई भी दे सकता है. इंडिया में सबको, everyone can give a simple opinion. That is not valued. If at all a question comes, a statement would be there, and along with that there is a comment. That means that give some evidence and facts along with your opinion to substantiate your opinion. That is what is comment. Best example of comment is an editorial which is written in a newspaper. So they have certain opinion supported by evidence and facts. That is what is comment. Always keep that in mind. And also evaluate can also be critically evaluate. In the same way critically जैसे add किया है. These are the overall. I am just giving you an introduction so that you can start writing the answer. So this will be discussed in detail again in the next session. Is that clear? So this is the major things about answer writing. In addition to this, there are two important things, very very important things, but a minor ones. One is time limit, another one is word limit. है ना, बहुत लोगों को क्वेश्चन आने वाला है, इसलिए मैंने अभी बोल रहा हूं. First let's talk about the word limit. A 10 marker should be written in 150 words. 12.5 marker should be written in 200 words, and a 15 marker should be written in 250 words. This is clear. How to calculate the number of words? Many people have this doubt. Okay, I would say please know your own words. मतलब एक रफ पेपर में लिखे देखो, जैसे यूपीएससी का एक मार्जिन होता है ना, you will find that in internet. You can take out a print and try to see. Even vision का जो आंसर बुकलेट आता है, so that is also almost same as UPSC. Try to write within that margin and try to count once. Normal handwriting usually fits with 100 words. Normal जो होता है. If you are writing bigger, it is lesser, 80 words per page. If you are writing smaller, 120 words per page. Try to count and have your own count. If you are normal writing, 10 marker should be written for 1.5 page. 12.5 marker 2 pages. 15 marker 3 pages. है ना? Simple. 250 like 2.5 to 3 pages. If you are writing smaller, कम कर सकते हो, बड़ा थोड़ा सा पुश कर सकते हो. It is up to you. But you should know the number of words which you are writing. And many people ask, should we stick to this word limit? Yes, please stick to the word limit. थोड़ा सा ऊपर नीचे, कब, कितना? +10, sorry, +20 or -10, I would say. +20, -10. Don't write too less and don't write too more. थोड़ा सा ऊपर ज्यादा जा सकते हो, यूजुअली हो सकते हैं, बट डोंट राइट टू लेस. In the place of writing 1.5 pages, if you are writing just 1 page, it is not accepted. But in the place of writing 1.5 pages, you are writing 2 pages तक push कर दिया तो ठीक है, मान लेते चलो ठीक है. But in the place of writing 1.5 pages, you are writing 2.5 to 3 pages, not agreeable. है ना? Please try to write within the word limit. It is very very important. Not only in terms of marks. ऐसा नहीं कि आप कम लिख के या by sticking to the word you are doing some kind of help to the person who is evaluating. This is help to yourself, because word limit is always linked with the time limit. The speed is same. They have calculated both the words as well as time. 150 words you have to write in 7.5 minutes. इसमें मान लो 1 मिनट हो जाते हैं पढ़ने में, समझने में, अप्रोच बनाने में 1 मिनट हो जाता है. सो यू आर लेफ्ट विद जस्ट 6.5 मिनट्स हियर. और हियर इन केस ऑफ 12.5 टाइम लिमिट भी बता देता हूं. देखो, ए 10 मार्कर शुड बी रिटन इन 7.5 मिनट्स. 12.5 मार्कर शुड बी रिटन इन 9 मिनट्स. 15 मार्कर शुड बी रिटन इन 10 मिनट्स. This is the time limit. आप खुद कैलकुलेट कर सकते हो. This is how it will work out. That means, assuming that you will need 1 minute for making the approach, 6.5 minutes for 150 words, 8 minutes for 200 words, and 9 minutes for 250 words. You calculate, it will come between 25 to 30 words per minute, which is bit too high. And it is not like somebody is dictating you and you are going to write it. It is not like you are dictating something. You are going to think and write. उसमें टाइम लगता है. If at all I am dictating and you are writing, वो fast लिख सकते हो. But if you are thinking and writing, it will take time. Please practice as much as possible. Please practice as much as possible over there. And both are linked. Okay, you are writing extra word, you are losing time for the next question, as well as you are losing space for the next question. है ना? Both are linked. By sticking to the word limit, trust me, you are doing help to yourself. You are helping yourself. If you are spending more time in one question, that means you are having less time in another question. Please stick to that. Many people say they don't find. इसके लिए I have a simple solution. मतलब they won't be, मतलब मेरे से नहीं होता है, time exceed हो जाता है, बहुत slow लिखता हूँ. इसलिए I have a very simple suggestion for all of you who are finding it difficult to complete within the time. Keep a fixed time limit. If you exceed the time limit for that answer, stop it and go to the next. Stop it at any cost. Keep that in mind. है ना, 7.5 minutes हो गया, इसको छोड़ दूंगा. Even if you know that answer very well, पूरा पता है, फिर भी उसको छोड़ दूंगा. You go to the next. You are not able to complete that, again stop it and go to the next. You do that for 1 test, 2 test, 3rd test में आपका brain अपने आप ट्यून हो जाएगा. It will start to think faster. आपको पता है, if you don't stop, if you don't write within the given time limit, you are going to stop. है ना, आपको पता है, you know that for sure. You will automatically start to think faster from the beginning. And always remember, don't go for excellency in writing answer. कभी नहीं होगा. Try to write average but good answer. Average answer of all the 20 questions is always better than writing excellent answer in 10 and writing a very poor answer in 10. Marks आप अपने आप को पता चल जाएगा. You write the test, you will get to know by yourself. And UPSC में ऐसा है कि you will never be sure कौन सा good answer है, कौन सा bad answer है. लिखने के बाद ही पता चल जाएगा. So don't go for mastering the answer. Write good answer, average answer, good answer, but write all. So now let's start the question and answer session. Before that, I have few questions. Let me take it up. Okay, keep your questions ready. I'll enable the response portal. You can paste it over there. So Aditya has a doubt, sir. Why are we not asked not to write beyond the margins in the answer sheet? Because the margins are used for something else. Okay, writing the comments, giving the marks, उसके लिए use करते हैं. So if you write the answer over there, it will be difficult for them to evaluate. Fine. So इसलिए you should not use that. And if you do that, they will deduct a mark. Also, how important it is to have good handwriting. I have explained that. Can I use correction pen in exam and whiteners? It is not suggested. Because that will create blunders. थोड़ा सा इधर उधर हो गया तो पेपर का क्वालिटी खराब हो सकता है, पेपर में छेद आ सकते हैं, तो इट इज़ अ रिस्की थिंग. एंड द यूपीएससी स्पेसिफिकली सेज दैट नॉट टू यूज सच काइंड ऑफ करेक्टर्स. आई हैव आंसर दिस ऑल्सो. साक्षी का जो क्वेरी है, हाउ आवर अप्रोच विल चेंज अकॉर्डिंग टू द कीवर्ड्स लाइक क्रिटिकली एवेल्युएट, एक्सप्लेन, डिस्कस, एटसेट्रा. सो आई हैव एक्सप्लेन दैट. You should understand the meaning, and the words will give the direction to your entire approach. Using the meaning of these keywords, you make the approach. Right? What is the first part, second part, third part? वो सारा इसके ऊपर ही decide होता है. Approach will depend entirely on the keyword. Ekta has a doubt how to penetrate the big answer in 150 or 250 words. Please address the concern. So this is where you have to practice. मतलब see, there is a concept, continental drift theory. You ask me to talk about continental drift theory, I can talk about it in 3 hours. I can do the same in 5 minutes also, because I know what is continental drift theory. Right? Overall क्या है मुझे पता है. I can explain, I can talk about it in detail for 3 hours as well as for 5-10 minutes also. You should develop that by yourself. If at all the same continental drift theory is coming for 15 marker, you should be able to write that in 250 words. If at all the same thing is coming in 10 marker, you should again be able to do that in 150 words. कैसे? Only write the important points, but you should not leave the major parts. The same continental drift theory, it is coming in 10 marks, 150 words में आया है. So what exactly you have to do? Brief introduction, very brief introduction. This is a continental drift theory proposed by Alfred Wegener in so and so year. The proposal, the theory, 2-3 points. Okay, very briefly 2-3 points. The forces responsible, 2-3 points. The evidence is given by 2-3 points. The conclusion. खत्म. The same thing coming for 15 marker. Try to elaborate. एक point के जगह में 2 point लिखो. Try to write 2 different lines. That is how you should be able to elaborate as well as make it concise. That develops. That comes only with practice. प्रैक्टिस से ही आता है. जितना आंसर आप लिखोगे, देखो, इट ऑल्सो मोर अबाउट हाउ वेल यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट टॉपिक. Okay, there is a saying, if at all you are not able to explain the topic, explain a particular topic in a very brief manner, that means you don't know the topic. Elaborately कोई भी explain कर सकता है, पूरा भाषण लगा के मतलब पूरा कहानी सुनाने में कोई भी कर सकते हैं. If you have to explain the same concept in a very brief and concise manner, you need mastery over there. So that comes with practice, revision, है ना. Practice करो, आ जाएगा. You can do that. No. Shivanjali is asking, okay, let me just enable the response portal. Please paste your queries, and while pasting the queries, try to see what the others have raised. If you have the same queries, please avoid and try to ask few queries. मतलब सबका है, so keep that in mind. I'll take up the queries. Shivanjali is asking, while writing our opinion, can we write according to me? No, you don't have to write according to me. जरूरी नहीं है. How to draw a map in an answer? Also, is it expected to draw accurate borders or freehand map? Freehand maps are totally fine. And how to draw a map? That one you have to practice. Both India map as well as world map. Roughly it is sufficient. Roughly, you don't see. Let me just show. You should just show. You should just be able to show the shape. Yeah, this is southern part. This is northern part. Like this is Gujarat. I have written in 10 seconds. If you give me a paper, if you give me a pencil, if I take 1 minute, I'll write a better map. The roughly shape पता होना चाहिए. I'm not asking you to write maps like this, but roughly shapes होना चाहिए. North, south, east, west, this much would be sufficient. Exact border, exact carvings, not required. Right? Practice both India map as well as world map. That will definitely give an extra mark. Please don't leave that option. अगर मैप लिखने का ऑप्शन है, please don't leave that. Fazil is asking, what is the difference between critical appraisal and criticism? See, critically is used along with some other terms. Usually UPSC में जो आता है ना, critical analysis, critical examine, critically discuss, ये सारा चीजें आते हैं. Critically means, please keep that in mind, you have to give equal weightage to both the parts. Whether you are doing examination or analysis or discussing, equal weightage should be there on both the sides. That is what is critically. You are not going to take a stand before coming to a conclusion. Conclusion में you can take a stand, but before that you should give an equal opportunity. So Nimisha is asking, can we use black and blue pens both simultaneously? Please avoid. As much as possible, avoid. Try to use only one ink. है ना? Because if at all you are changing the ink, you have to take the signature of the examiner over there. जो हॉल में इन्विजिलेटर होता है ना, उनका सिग्नेचर लेना चाहिए इफ एट ऑल यू आर चेंजिंग द इंक. सो दैट्स वाई अवॉइड, यूज ओनली वन इंक. जनरल स्टडीज में पर्टिकुलरली, सो नो नीड टू वरी अबाउट यूजिंग मल्टीपल कलर्स, नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. सो लेट मी गो थ्रू द क्वेरीज. इन वर्ड लिमिट, while calculating, do we need to count the words like is, a and overall rough approximation? Okay, क्योंकि कभी कभी बड़ा वर्ड्स भी होता है, कभी कभी छोटा वर्ड्स भी होता है. सारा कैलकुलेट करके एक एवरेज बना लो. ओके, इट्स द एवरेज विच इज गोइंग टू मैटर, बिकॉज आई टोल्ड यू प्लस और माइनस 15 ही मान लो, प्लस और माइनस 20 ही मान लो. ठीक है, उससे ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए. एवरेज इज फाइन. डोंट वरी अबाउट ये एंड द, वो काउंट होगा या नहीं होगा. टू पेन्स मैंने बता दिया. सब हेडिंग फॉर अंडरलाइनिंग, अंडरलाइनिंग आई टोल्ड यू, प्लीज यूज द सेम पेन फॉर अंडरलाइनिंग. डेफिनेटली यू विल नॉट हैव टाइम. ओके, ट्रस्ट मी शांभवी, you will not have time in UPSC. The time is divided in such a manner that you will complete all the answer in the given time. You will not have time to come back or underline or do this exercise. वो time होगा ही नहीं. Okay, trust me, वो होगा ही नहीं. So please use single pen, that is sufficient. For underlining, sufficient. Normally this is the normal practice. Sanjana Singh is asking how to maintain logical flow in answers. See, logical flow बहुत लोगों को दिक्कत होता है. They think that while writing the answer, they will think some of the points will come first, then they will think हाँ ये पहले आना चाहिए था, वो बाद में आना चाहिए. है ना, दे विल से दैट लॉजिकल फ्लो मेंटेन करने में दिक्कत होता है. आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट. सो देयर आई वुड सजेस्ट प्लीज मेक द अप्रोच क्लियर. वंस योर अप्रोच इज क्लियर, ओवरऑल पूरा आइडिया है, सो देन यू कैन make the answer, write the points in a logical manner. Give more importance to approach. Read the question carefully, make a rough framework before you start writing the answer. Then your answer will be very logical. Logically जो जिनका issue है उनका approach में ही दिक्कत होगा. Okay, so you can correct it over there. Yes, you can use pencils in drawing maps. You can use pencils. I would say use pencils. Unless you have the mastery over drawing the maps, you can use pen. Is it suggested to use colors in maps? You will not have time. Optional geography, it's okay. You have practice करके लिखा है तो कर सकते हो optional geography, but not in general studies. Don't worry much. And you will not get extra mark just by coloring. You use the same map in single pencil, you will get the same marks. So don't waste your time. Simran is asking more about language. See, language mein na, I am not getting what is the doubt. I told you language should be simple, straightforward. Don't worry about writing too flowery, complex language, showing your literature skill, showing your English skill over there. Don't worry about that. Keep it simple so that it conveys your words directly to the examiner. Now, the point is to convey your content to him. They are not going to give extra mark for the language. नहीं हो सकता है. Okay, it gives the impression, ठीक है. You have a good language, use it, but don't make it too complex. That is my suggestion, simple suggestion. You have more to ask, you please ask specifically. Can we draw table in difference or comparison between two things? If it is more objectively define कर सकते हैं तो ठीक है. Otherwise, it is subjective. Don't use tables. जैसे कि what are the difference between peninsular river system and Himalayan river system? You can objectively define them using certain criteria. तो वहां पर आप टेबल बना सकते हो. Normally, not required. Should we write word example before mentioning? Yeah, you can write example or just ex. Both are fine. But you have to write. है ना, example लिखा तो तभी पता होगा. Manish has a doubt from the starting only. Should I focus on time limit or first on learning writing content? This goes together. Trust me, it goes together. है ना, आप सोच सकते हो पहले मैं आंसर लिखूंगा, फिर वर्ड लिमिट करूंगा, फिर टाइम लिमिट करूंगा. वो बहुत लंबा प्रोसेस है and you will make a lot of mistakes in that process. Okay, and you have to be very fast and quick in UPSC preparation. यार टाइम नहीं है. Okay, trust me, टाइम नहीं है. बहुत लोग आगे चले जाते हैं. आप स्लो हुआ तो आगे चले जाते हैं. You have to be quick and fast. Okay, and trust me, you have to target appearing for UPSC in the first year attempt itself. ऐसे तो नहीं होना चाहिए कि 2-3 साल प्लान करके करूंगा, वो कभी नहीं होता है. प्लान इट अकॉर्डिंगली, मतलब साइमल्टेनियसली होना चाहिए. लर्निंग इट, whatever the concept you have learned, you should be able to write it in the given word limit and time limit. Parallelly practice करो, तब भी होगा. हाँ, Shreya, you have a good doubt. Can we use short forms in some words? No. Short forms है ना, तो जो standard short forms है उसको use कर सकते हैं. Suppose United Nation Environmental Program, you can use UNEP. This is a standard short form. But if at all you are making your own short form, most commonly government को लिखते हैं GOVT. This is not accepted. This is accepted. The standard short forms used officially, they are accepted. But this is unofficial. GOVT and this is all not accepted. This is not official. You don't find GOVT in any of the government circulars. Do you find it? No. You don't find these and? No. Use the official language. This is an exam where they are officially checking you. है ना? Please stick to that. If at all you are making a scheme का short form लिख रहे हो, suppose स्वच्छ भारत अभियान SBA, यहां पर आप यूज कर सकते हो provided that you write the full form in the beginning. Okay, you write the full form in the beginning in the bracket SBA, for the first time when you write in the answer, but subsequently you can use SBA. That is fine. But yes, ऐसे वाला shortcuts, no, you cannot use that. This is fine. This is fine provided you use it, elaborate it once, but this is not fine. Clear? Utkarsh Patel, you have a very good doubt. Trust me, this is not only your doubt, many students का यही doubt है. He is saying that he is afraid to write assignment because he thinks he should study everything about the topic then write. देखो, जो भी assignments होता है ना, assignment will be given to you at the end of the class, right? जितना आपको पता है उसके ऊपर लिखो. That is what I am saying. Don't try to develop mastery over the topic, because that will never happen. The day will never come you have developed the mastery over a particular topic. Fine. So you should start writing with whatever the little knowledge you have. It's okay. The answer writing skill is about writing with whatever you have. It's not about knowing everything and writing, which will never happen. Trust me, this will never happen. The day will never come where your UPSC preparation is totally done and you are ready to give exam. नहीं होगा. So for that I would suggest one thing. Please write your assignment from today itself. Whether you are submitting or not, एक हफ्ते पूरा लिखो. You don't want to submit, ठीक है. आपको लग रहा है your answer is very pathetic. You have written the worst answer in the entire world. It's okay. But you have taken the initiative to start writing. बहुत लोग वो भी नहीं किया है. Those people are still behind. You have moved ahead. And once you start writing day by day, ना वो improve होगा. Please don't depend on content. I'm not asking you to write the geography answers before the commencing of geography class. पहले class तो करो. I agree on that. But जो भी assignment होगा, उस दिन का topic के बाद में ही assignment देते हैं ना हम. Like we will give the assignment based on today's topic. You have listened to that topic for 3 hours. Based on that you write the answer. अगर इतना भी है तो पहले revise कर लो, वो और बढ़िया है. 3 घंटे class सुन लिया, you revise that topic, then after that you write the assignment. But write that assignment on that particular day only. Beginning is very, very important. Beginning you will feel that, you will feel the hesitation, you will need that push. Trust me, once you start you will not remember any of this. Once you get the push, you will start writing. After maybe a week you think that your answers are fine, then you start submitting. If you are brave enough, submit it. It's okay. They are the evaluators, they are your mentors. Let them see your mistakes. Let them correct it. You will learn more. It's okay. How much space should be used for map? Normal. Don't write too big maps, but it should not be too small maps. If this is one page, try to use it in one corner. Top corner, right corner, left corner, one corner is sufficient. It should not be too big. Then only this will be considered equivalent to the word limit. Otherwise you are unnecessarily using the entire space for writing map. That is not considered. See, flowchart is something you write it to explain a concept in a simple manner. Okay, very simple manner, in a presentation, in a presentable manner if you want to explain it. So that is what is flowchart. Right? So that one you can write it in the answer to support the content which is already written. Okay, not as an alternative to the content. You start writing, you will understand. Many of the answers will have flow charts. Okay, for that you can download the previous toppers copies and try to see how they have written. For essay, is there also determined sheets in exam like GS paper? Yes, the space will be fixed. Uber, I have already cleared this doubt. I am seeing this doubt again and again. You can count these A and the, it doesn't matter because few of the words will be bigger, few of the words will be smaller. Consider the overall. Sir, in critically way forward is compulsory. Yes, it is compulsory. Wherever you see this prescriptive type of keywords है ना, examine, analyze, discuss, there the conclusion is compulsory. Okay, conclusion is compulsory over there. For short form like FR in terms of fundamental right, so I would say write it for the first time. When you're writing for the first time, use fundamental right bracket FR, then you can start to use FR. Akriti is asking, can we rely on Vision monthly magazine for additional content or find other sources also? Additional content talks about the examples, figures, facts. Okay, that one you learn from the textbook and the classroom notes, whatever the material you are referring. Vision monthly magazine gives you current affairs. That is different. Okay, wherever you are reading current affairs, that gives you knowledge about the current affairs. But additional content I spoke is mainly about the examples, facts, figures. So that one you can learn from the textbook itself. वहाँ पर भी मिल जाएगा, यहाँ पर भी मिलेगा. Will the strategy of GS paper is same for essay paper? No, it is totally different. So you will have separate essay class. Please try to wait till then. Uber is asking, should we write only assignment answer or write more? Of course, you have the time to write more. Please write more. The more you write, the better. Yes, you can write half map, full map. It is not required. Okay, Arusha Sharad Patil. This is a good question. Should we write half map or always whole map? See, India always try to write full map. But it is world map, you can write half map. For example, Asia's part, Pacific part, explaining about El Nino, you can write only Pacific part. Indian Ocean Dipole, okay, you can write only Asian part. You can write half map. Sai Kishore has a doubt, how many pages will we have in main exam to write answer? So the word limit which I had shown you, based on that they would have given the pages. For a 10 marker there would be 1.5 page. For a 15 marker there would be usually 4 pages. Okay, 10 marker I think 1.5 to 2 pages. The Vision textbook booklet, test booklet which you find, that is same as the UPSC one. You can refer to that. Yes, etc. you can use, etc. full stop, that is accepted. In examples you can do EX, then example, and then etc. 1 or 2 examples, that would be sufficient. So Akriti is asking about geography optional. No, in Vision we don't have geography optional. So I just take general studies. Geography. For quote writing, where do I learn the quotes? So that one you can underline these quotes in the textbooks. You will read, when you read the textbooks, you can underline specific quotes and make a list of such quotes which can be used in the answers. Or you might also find these quotes in the newspapers, wherever you find. Okay, there are no specific sources to read the quotes. Whatever the quotes you feel you can write in the GS answer, make a list of them and try to revise them. है ना, एक लिस्ट करके याद करो, वो अच्छा है. Yes, Government of India you can write GOI, but provided you write first. Government of India लिख के bracket में GOI लिखो, then you can start to use GOI only in that particular answer. Next answer you are writing again you have to write the expansion GOI and then continue. For a single concept, how many examples we can use? For a single concept, I would say 1 or 2 examples would be sufficient. You don't have to explain with multiple examples. Rather than, I would say, give multiple points. Multiple points, in each of these points, 1 or 2 examples. That would be sufficient. Whole paper in uppercase. Why do you want to use uppercase? Please don't use uppercase. Write in normal form. Yes, you can use black pen, blue pen, it's up to you. Sanjana, what are the things that can be used to make an answer look more attractive? The presentation parts which I explained, that makes it more attractive. Okay, presentation में जो भी मैंने explain किया, please remember that. Manas has a doubt. Should we criticize the government in power while writing the answer? Definitely you can do that. But the criticism should not become just criticism. Criticism should be supported with suggestions. Don't think that you cannot criticize the government. Definitely. If it is criticism, please justify it, why you are criticizing, and most probably with facts. Please use facts and logics to justify the criticism and then give the solution. Okay, ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए. You are just criticizing the government. Why you are criticizing? Your argument should be strong. At the same time, give the solution also. It's totally fine. It's totally okay. Don't think that आपका जो बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट है उनका पॉलिसीज को क्रिटिसाइज नहीं कर सकते हो एंड बाद में कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट आ सकते हो उसका तो अभी क्रिटिसाइज करना शुरू करो. ऐसे तो प्लीज डोंट वरी. You should remain neutral. You think from a neutral perspective. If the program is fine, it is fine. Otherwise, whatever it is, you can write it over there. Remembering years, is it important or not? Depends. Some of the important years you have to remember. Not all the years. जैसे कि पॉलिटी में केसेस का years, सारा केसेस का years याद रखने के बदले एटलीस्ट केसेस याद रखो पहले. Okay, then the years. So Panchanan is asking in the exam pen is provided by UPSC. No यार, pen you have to take. You have to take as many pens, refills extra जो भी चाहिए आपको लेना पड़ेगा. बस booklet देते हैं. Abbreviations can be used. Answered. Can we use short forms like GOT? Answered. Should we criticize the government? Answered. Can we write answer? Next question first. Yes. Keshav, this is a good query. See, in the booklet है ना, so that the space would be left from 1 to 20. The questions will be given. Question number 1, 2 pages. Question number 2, 2 pages. Question number 3. The space will be left, but the space is fixed. You can write in any of the order you want. You go back and write the 20 number first, then come to the first number. At the end, जो भी आपको submit करना है ऐसे है. So that was there earlier. The entire answer sheet was blank. You could have used the order, whatever the order you want. That was there earlier. Now the order you cannot change. Just पहले बाद में कौन सा यूज का आंसर कर सकते हो, that is up to you. है ना? And I would say don't start the first question first only. Go in the middle, go in the end, write. Once you develop, once you are in flow of thinking and writing, then you come to the first answer, because first answer always create a kind of impression. That should be good, right? It kind of creates an impression. So please start with any of the other topics where you have the mastery, then you come to the first topic. You can always change the order.